Precisely. I'm going to stretch out your camera angle a little bit on your close-up. There we go. Move mine, do the same for me. And we are published. Now let's go in here. And so, yeah, but asking how did I end up getting a demographic of a bunch of folks who are basically recovering and whatnot is when Jamie Deluxe came on the podcast, I had a lot of his listeners. Like he's a recovering addict, and that's a lot of his background, and a lot of his guests or folks that his subscribers basically are recovering. Mm-hmm. So I went live one night, and right after we had done his episode, I went live and talked to basically all the listeners that I'd gained from him, and just pretty much telling my story and whatnot, mm-hmm. finding out that they were recovering and a lot of things in common. So a lot of the I guess you would say overflow I received from his account are a lot of recovering addicts, and just you doing what you do, and I'll let you explain that here in just a second. We're not live quite yet. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get this going right here.
Oh, let's get it going. Oh. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I recorded this song sitting in this chair. While I'm getting everything shared out.
Yeah, tag me in something.
Oh, yeah, I'll tag you, man. Yeah, I like to do this before we go live on the audio. Just see if anybody's going to bite and watch live. They'll be popping in and out there. Out-of-tune banjo note, I just left it there. It's like, this is just awkward enough to catch somebody's attention.
Especially now that you pointed it out.
Yeah.
No, I can't unhear it.
I love it though.
Merle's Inlet. How can I tag you and something?
At MI Stuff. Just shared on the page. Tell you what. I don't think I included the original post in that when I just shared it, but
why can't I tag you in something? nice stuff, right?
Yeah, it's M.I. But I just tagged you on Facebook and I shared the. And I tagged you on the podcast page too.
Word. That was a whole lot easier.
Hang on. Better? Yeah.
I am such a short bus. Short guy, short fella, I'll just call myself.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Vertically challenged, if you will.
Well, you never have to worry about like bumping your head. You know, there's benefits to every side of this.
Speaking of bumping in my head, we can speak of one of my 12 concussions.
Yep.
This is chapter 7.
All right, so one song length is, I think, plenty of time to get everything shared out. I've got everything shared on the Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. Get back over here to where I can see the chat. And looks like you look good on camera. I don't look good, period.
I'm glad I can't see it.
No, man. By all means, feel free to open it up if you want to kind of watch along. We're on a bit of a delay, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and go live on the audio and talk to the audio people. So yes, I was when we first we don't need that yet. I usually mute that song because that song plays my intro music, except I pull all the lyrics out of it.
Right.
I pull the lyrics and the solos out of it, and it's just like a 4 minute musical.
Cool.
Not a musical, instrumental. What are we talking about? Jesus.
Who even knows anymore?
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, same to you.
Yeah. So anyway, just to shout back for the audio folks, we were just talking in the YouTube about you were asking why a lot of the folks who watch live or recovering addicts. And I was explaining that it was because a lot of Jamie Deluxe's crowd are also recovering addicts. And that's sort of right up your alley because of what you do.
I'm a recovering addict.
Well, you're not necessarily a recovering addict, but but your work with with helping recovering addicts and things like that. And just to, I guess, go a little deeper into what we talked about last time, where you were just sort of new to the sober game. Mm-hmm. And I think that's been a little more than a year ago, or almost a year ago, probably right there at it.
Yeah, somewhere around, I was thinking that the other day. Like, I think it's right at a year, man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was about 6 months sober or so. And it's been right at a year and a half sober for me, so...
Yeah, now speak up now so the good people can hear you.
Sorry. Speaking into the microphone.
Yeah, speak up so the good people can hear you.
Excuse me. But yeah, so it's been about a year and a half sober for me now. So it's been right at a year since the last time we spoke. So it's really cool for me too. So I get to see even more sober progression. You know,
that's awesome, man. So how's it feel? Well, how is it different today than it was the last time we talked here?
Oh man. Night and day. I'm just looking at the world through a different pair of glasses now. It's like at first I felt like everybody was changing. I'm like, man, they're all changing. Like, what in the world? People are changing right before my very eyes. Like, what's going on? It's like the apocalypse or something.
Yeah.
I thought I was going kind of crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
But really, when I started diving deeper into myself and really like turning everything around on myself, I was like, you know what? Everybody's not changing, man. You are.
Exactly. That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
That's the biggest, and I hate to call it an aha moment, but that's one of the biggest aha moments I had.
Oh, yeah.
It's not them, it's me.
Yeah. And really, that's kind of what the whole thing was that got me into that.
Yeah.
Was I thought it was all these other people. I could point fingers and say, I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for you, and I wouldn't have done this if I wouldn't have been taught this way.
Yeah.
That's just the way I was raised, or whatever.
Right.
But really, I'm an adult.
Exactly.
And the only person that can take accountability for my actions is me.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's a hard thing to hear. Yeah, I got music too. It just shows up from, I think, Nick, through the wall or somewhere.
It's cool.
These headphones and microphones are just really, really strong. What's up, Abby? I see you out there. Good to see you in the chat
Abby.
there.
What's up?
But yeah, that's progression, man.
Yeah.
That's 100% progression, and just getting to the point where you realize that you are in control of you're in control of everything. That whole you can do anything you put your mind to thing is truer than they tell you when you're a kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're in constant control of your destiny.
God, man. I mean, I was just saying earlier that excuse me, the guy was working with me really early on, and introducing me to this life.
Yeah.
He kept kind of saying, like, man, you keep doing this, and Josh, you can do whatever you want to do. And it sounded a lot like a parental figure saying that. Like, he's just saying that because he has to.
Yeah.
He's just saying that because that's the right thing to say. But about 3 months ago, or no, maybe even less than that, my world just kind of flipped upside down again. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was closing my business. I have this other business I wanted to get started. All this shit, just like stuff, and I was kind of confused because I'm like, wait a minute, man, I'm doing the right thing supposedly. I'm not drinking or using drugs anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what else can I do? I help whenever I can. I'm doing all this stuff, and like, it just didn't make sense to me because I couldn't make a definitive decision. I had one toe in the water and one toe in the sand, and I couldn't really decide which way to go. Again, everything just seemed confusing.
Yeah.
And this is recently. Within 2 months or so ago. But then I finally made a couple decisions, like just hard-nosed decisions of, okay, pros and cons, and sometimes you got to write it down.
Yeah, sure.
And that's not how I normally handle things. Normally, I go to the bar and go, I'm gonna figure this out.
Yep.
And then and then by the third, you don't care anymore. It don't matter what decision you make. And so like now when I'm faced with these things, I kind of balk. I'm like, like I don't know when to pull the trigger. Because I'm so scared. I don't want to create any more damage than I already have. So I'm just trying to live. So that's the part with these things of sobriety is you're approached with these little things in life that you've never done sober.
Oh, yeah.
You've been sober in the moment, but when it came down to the decision making, the time, that's when you were looking for all those outside influences that you weren't getting shit from.
Yeah.
That you weren't learning any lesson. You were covering it up.
So now, by association, are you saying that you think that any idea that you have when you're drinking is not a good idea?
I think it's not clear.
Okay.
I think you can have great ideas while you're drinking,
sure.
and you can have some really shitty ones. But how many great ideas have you had drinking and you woke up the next day and it was exactly the same idea? It might be a version of that idea.
For sure.
There might be the meat of it, but it ain't. You almost don't want it to be the same. I mean, I can give you an example real quick. A guy we all know, I'm not going to mention his name, we hung out real late one night and we started writing these skits. And we were crying, laughing. We were like, this is genius. People are going to buy this. And then like a week later, he's like, do you still have all those notes? And I said, yeah, let's look over them. And they didn't make sense. They were the most ridiculous. Like we were
that's how it works.
We thought that was funny. And that's, it was, for me, that was probably about a year before I got sober. And that was one of my defining moments of, whoa, dude, you really thought that was a good idea. How many times have you done that before? Where you really thought that was a good idea? And
Oh yeah, for sure.
and that's like, I don't know. Again,
Some more consequences than this situation, even.
yeah, yeah. And so again, when there's defining moments, if you will, but so like all this stuff's going on, and I'm confused because I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I'm living on this right path, and it's things aren't just really happening. So I make some really definitive decisions, and I said, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna have faith for once. I've been, I've trust and faith in God, and if you're gonna have faith, there you go.
Absolutely.
Here's your chance.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like praying for patience. You don't pray for patience, man, because it will. God will say, "Here you go. You want some patience?
Yeah, you'll be gifted that.
No problem, man."
Abby here says 31 years clean. That's awesome, Abby.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I'm going on year 4 right now. I'm in year 3. So the next year will actually be my 1-year anniversary because leap day will come back around again. And that's when I quit drinking.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, right. So next year I'll be 1 year sober
That's
technically.
hilarious. That's hilarious.
But no, and I don't know how much you can talk about what you actually like, the actual work you do, and or for what reason.
Sure.
But do you see that there are certain similar, and I can ask this question completely ignorantly because I don't know for sure, and of course I've had a lot of experience with alcoholics because I am one.
Sure.
And I've got a lot of experience with. I mean, I would say that up 90+% of our friends are alcoholics. And I'm not saying that in a demeaning way either. I'm just saying that as a matter of fact way. I was too. I am. I don't think you ever stop being that.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of experience with that. But outside of that, I don't really have a lot of experience with other addicts of other drugs and such.
Right.
So wonder, and like I said, we talked a little beforehand. I don't know how much you can divulge on air, but do you want to talk a little bit about some of the similarities between people's addictive personalities, or is everybody different? Is everybody's addictive personality as different as their regular personality?
That's pretty good.
Or
we need to write that down for sure.
Well, we got it.
Somebody check that. It's evolving for me. When I first went and got help, I was like, I don't identify with a lot of these people. But the more I kind of stayed around, the more I listened, the more I took suggestions. I was like, we're kind of all in the same boat.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the easiest way to describe it is, man, it don't matter what your problem is. It don't matter what you're obsessing about. You're obsessing about it for some reason.
Yeah.
Like the problem wasn't the drink or the drug. You're doing that for some reason.
Absolutely.
Escape, self-pleasure, whatever it may be. And that's the scary part, is finding out what the hell that reason is.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you want to stop something that you do every damn day, that you think about almost every minute, you better find the reason why you're doing it in the first place.
That's a huge truth.
Man, and you're not going to gain any ground until you kind of do so. You can stay away from the drink. You can stay away from the drug. But if you don't do any work to stay away from it, it's basically creeping back to you. It's
100%.
Your alcoholic mind that you know that is going to be with you until the day you die.
Yep.
This is unfortunately a terminal disease, but it can last a long time. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? And that's the thing, and that's a hard truth to face. But if you look at it like that, I was just telling a guy today. I said, man, imagine going to get help like this. You went to the doctor, and the doctor told you have a rare form of cancer, a rare disease, and it's terminal. But he can keep you alive and healthy as long as you come to the doctor 1 hour, maybe 5 times a week, maybe every week. If the doctor said come to my office for an hour a day, every day, and it'll keep you alive, I'm pretty sure you're going to go to that doctor. And you're going to do whatever that doctor told you to do, because
Absolutely.
you have a disease, and it's going to kill you if you don't address it. That's what he just told you. Here you go. And so it kind of breaks it down. Usually people that are real new go, well, now that you put it that way, maybe it is worth my time of,
Yeah.
going to take some suggestions and getting some help and talking to somebody about it, man. The best results through, years and years of studying addicts and alcoholics, they all kind of come back to the same thing. The best results are from actual addicts.
Oh yeah.
It's from people who's been there.
Yeah. Well, they don't need maps. They know the way.
Exactly. I mean, you go to a doctor now. Most doctors are going to identify with alcoholism.
Oh, for sure.
Most doctors are going to drink. But you go to the doctor with multi addictions, different kind of things. They don't really know because they haven't been down that road. They can say, oh, well, I can prescribe you this for anxiety and this to help you sleep and whatever else. But that's not finding out the real problem, why you're doing it in the first place. Now you're replacing it with some other shit.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, but it's not the doctor's fault because, again, they don't teach that shit in medical school. Not that I know of.
Oh, yeah.
You
don't see that.
This is how you deal with a guy that's addicted to sex, crack, and alcohol. They were like, Well,
that's what I was asking. I wonder if people's addictive personalities are that much different from their everyday personalities, like their actual personalities. Because I think maybe the same vein that makes someone addicted to sex, alcohol, drugs, eating, whatever fucking have you, whatever makes these people addicted to that is probably stemming from the same source amongst all people. Whatever makes people addicted, it's all, like you say, going back to some sort of trauma that they've had in their life that they're trying to counter with whatever it is that they're doing. And I've been there and I've had a lot of realization and talking to myself in these podcasts on episodes when I don't have a guest and I'm just kind of just literally talking. Mm-hmm. And I'll realize that there was a reason that I was drinking. And once you realize the reason why you were drinking, very shortly after quitting, once you realize that, why it was going the way it was going, then, it makes it understandable. And then you sympathize with other folks who have issues like that because you know that they were also going through something that was equally as bad as whatever it was you were going through.
Right. Right.
Do you find that as well? Like where you can you try to find common ground with?
Well, sure. I mean, it definitely helps when you identify more with someone. But sometimes it's almost one of those kind of aha moments when you identify with someone that's completely opposite from you, and you're and you kind of boil back and you're like, it don't matter if you were over here and I was over here. We both ended up right here.
Yeah.
Why the hell did we both end up right here? You were on Wall Street and I was on Crack Street.
Yeah.
But we both in the same
Oh, yeah,
circle,
for sure.
And so that's the thing about, this whole illness, whatever you want to call it, man. That I'm not even going to get into the it's not a disease, it's not this. Call it an illness. I don't care what you call it. It's an epidemic. Man, most of the people, you said it, most of the people we know are alcoholics, man. I mean, I strategically placed these people in my life on purpose for the last 20 years because I was an alcoholic. So in order for you to hang out with me, you kind of needed to be able to drink with me.
Oh, yeah.
Vice versa.
Same, yep.
Same. That was a really hard truth to face when I got sober. Was again, one of those things where, dude, you did this. You did this. You did this yourself.
Exactly. Nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's, I try to tell people when they're new and they're scared and they're like, how the hell am I going to live my life because I've done it so long? How am I going to stop? I deal with all my problems this way.
Yeah.
Not only do I deal with my problems this way, I deal with celebrating this way. You deal with the worst times in your life and the best times in your life, both with the same shit.
That's really interesting.
And that's scary, man.
Yeah, that's really interesting that something can be used for both celebration and remedy. Very rarely are something
Bro, it's easy to go, woohoo, Happy New Year, or to my homie.
Yeah, exactly. Or, well, shit. I guess I'm not going to make rent this month. May as well go ahead and just my deal, man. I was just financial issues, just financial worry. And I was talking about that the other day. Just going through financial issues is literally the fucking worst. And it won't, there's nothing that can fix that. But, getting off your ass and figuring out, what you need to do to fix it.
Yeah.
But for so long, I would be like, okay, well, I guess I don't want to think about, I might be getting kicked out of my apartment tomorrow. I may as well just go down to Tito's and suck down as much rumple as I can hold, and then come back here long enough to pass out and
Figure
not
it out
care.
tomorrow.
Not care, yeah, just to erase worry. But also, it's my birthday. I want to go out and have a good time. I'm going to go out and drink enough rumple so I can come back here and pass out and have a good time.
Yeah.
It's so funny that, like, if somebody was taking antibiotic to get rid of an infection, and then the infection was no longer there, and they continued to take the antibiotic, people would be like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
But that's not the case with alcohol, and you said that you do a lot of work with heroin cases as well.
Yeah, man, and that's a crazy,
Do you notice any similarities there, or is that like a different beast altogether?
Ooh, similarities, yes. Different beast, yes. And that's
Okay.
That's the
I hear you.
that's the only way I can put it right now. But I will say, even that has evolved, because
For sure.
a year ago, I wasn't really working with anybody anyway. But a year ago, I would have kind of shied away from that, because I said, hey, I hadn't been there. You want to know somebody that's been there or whatever. But after being around it and realizing what kind of epidemic is around this area, and the young people, and oh my God, man, it is unbelievable.
That's so sad, man.
Yeah, and I was in a rock band for 25 years, bro. I was right in the middle of it, and that just wasn't around.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, but not like it wasn't around. You were
exactly.
old. You'd been doing it a while, and I don't know. Honestly, in 25 years of being on the road, it was never offered to me once, not once. And so somehow I skimped through it, and I never went down that road. Thank God. If I did, with my addictive personality, we probably wouldn't be sitting here, brother.
Yeah, and I hate to think that. For those not familiar, Brother Joshy here, one of the most talented percussionists I've ever played with, was, don't laugh, motherfucker, you know it's the
I'm going to
truth.
spit my coffee on you.
Member of 10 Toes Up. And Google YouTube 10 Toes Up. There's a lot of awesome video out there, you guys. Original songs, and fucking, y'all ran this game around here for a very long time. At least a decade.
Yeah. We had a good time. There was I actually got to go out to lunch with one of the members about 2 weeks ago, and man, we had about a 3-hour coffee.
Those are great.
It was man. We got to share a lot of memories. We were like, I wouldn't take it back for anything, but I wouldn't go back there for shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. I hear that.
And so we had some good laughs, and everybody's doing their own thing, and everybody's fairly happy and really living their lives, and just doing different things. So it's kind of cool. That was a long chapter of my life.
Oh yeah.
But hell, we lasted 10 years. That's longer than most marriages that I've these days.
Bro, 10 years is, I think 10 years is like I believe that one band year is a decade otherwise.
I love it.
I'm serious. I believe that one band year is a decade, especially if you're playing gigs, because you guys were gigging and I say this a lot, and I feel like people don't hear me. Like they don't understand like the things that go into playing with a band, the same band for so long, is like when you're doing over 200 gigs a year with the same group of people, and you're committed to being with these people who are not your one wife or immediate family, even if they are your wife or immediate family, you're still being forced by something that is, and granted, in the beginning when you get started playing music, I just want to play music and this is fun. But then when it becomes like, okay, we have to be here, we have to be here, we have to be here, and you get a calendar at the beginning of every year, and it's like business as usual and work,
right.
Then you're like, fuck, man, just like this is really, really strenuous. And I say things like that, And people are like, oh, you're just playing music. How bad can it be? And it's like, dude, we're in the same with the same group of people for over 200 nights a year. And, like, that's really, really strenuous. Like, other than anything, because there's money involved in it, for one. And anytime you bring money into anything, that just creates this sort of fog in a relationship that is constantly going to be there, and it's never. I mean, it can be a good fog or a bad fog, but it is a fog that is in a relationship. That, I mean, when you know what I mean. Like, bringing just money involved in these situations is just like a marriage. When there's money involved in a marriage and everything means something and everything is serious, a lot of folks don't understand that. Like that don't gig like that.
Well, that side of it is rarely even discussed.
Yeah.
Because in business, what's one of the first rules, man? No friends and family.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the first rules of general business.
No friends and family.
Keep your friends and family out of it. When you're in a band, in order to be a good band,
you have to be friends and family.
You have to be a family.
Yeah.
Like, whether you're related or not, you have to get along even when you're not getting along.
Yeah.
There are times when we'd be on the road and we wanted to strangle each other. But if you're getting paid X amount of dollars to be on stage at 9 o'clock at whatever club, buddy, we would paint those smiles on our faces and hop up on that stage because we had to get paid.
Oh, yeah.
And if you hop up there like a lump on a log, like, I'm mad at whoever.
The phone's not going to ring for that spot no more.
Nope. You just lost however many years of work.
And not only that, that's on you.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. So it's, man, I tell people all the time, being in a band is like being married to however many people are in that band at the same time.
Yep. It really is. And also, to think about this stuff too, you bring in money involved in this situation. In the beginning, it's like you don't really care about it, and it's just all to have fun. But then you start to have a lot of fun, and people start to notice you're having fun, and then they want to come and see you. Mm-hmm. So then, whenever people want to come and see you, the dollars go up, and the more the dollars go up, the stress goes up. Literally, the more you get paid, the more stressful it is. Just because, and you think about bands that have been together for so long, like original members, like I want to say somebody like the Stones, who have been together for that long, who can cast aside anything that they might feel towards each other for the fans. And that is just so hard to do. And I know that for a fact. Like, it's just so hard to do. Like, people who want to see you and want to see you perform and just being like, listen, I can't put myself through this anymore. And that's not a selfish thing at all. It's just understanding that I'm maxed out emotionally in this situation. And I'm fucking sorry, but I'm maxed out emotionally, and I just can't do it anymore. And I know that, and I've been there. I mean, we've gotten through it because, I mean, shit, me and Adam and Smitty, hell or high water. I mean, we'll figure it out.
Right.
But yeah, like, just I've been there before. I'm just like, I just can't handle. I can't handle what's going on. And
here's something. It might be a good little segue to you know, with the artist. With the increased number of suicides lately,
right?
You know, the first thing general public thinks of when first person I think of is Chef Bourdain. Okay, when they think of how could he have committed suicide? He has everything. Well, first of all, you don't know what he has.
Exactly.
He has money. That ain't fucking everything. There are people in $1 million mansions right now staring at a shotgun and trying to convince themselves not to stick it in their mouth. Why is that? Because to people like you and I, they got everything. To the general public, people don't understand this. People don't understand that pain, that even if you have millions of dollars, you still feel pain, man.
Yes.
You still, or you could be going through shit that obviously you aren't making public.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kate Spade, Robin Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, those don't make sense. They got everything. the movies we all grew up on with Robin Williams, and I don't know. It makes me sad that was how they finished their last chapter.
Same here, man.
You know, like we have. That's one of things we're allowed with free will. We could end it right now if with our own free will.
Yep.
I truly believe that's not what God wants.
Absolutely.
It's not what my God wants.
Same here, man.
You know, like there's not, and that's not saying that I haven't had those thoughts, and I have those thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
It is perfectly, I believe it's perfectly normal to have those thoughts. But man, when you are so low, when that's starts to become a good idea, it doesn't matter what you got. It don't matter who's on your arm, how much, what kind of car you drive, how many people work for you. I don't care what it is. When you're to that point, there's really only one way out. You know, like, and it ain't money. You can't buy it.
Yeah. And there could be an argument, too, to be said that those people who have everything and are still sad that think, well, I do have everything, and I'm still sad. Yeah. So now where do I go? And I was just, whenever you pulled up, I was listening to Brody Stevens arguing with Tony Hinchcliffe, or just sitting there. You pulled up right after they got done arguing, and that whole time he was literally just sitting there silent. And then you remember he spoke? Right. Like that whole time you were here, he was just sitting there staring at the screen, just silent. Yeah. And he just committed suicide like a couple of weeks ago. And Zach Galifianakis spoke at his benefit or memorial at the Comedy Store in L.A. and was saying that he was just so proud that he wouldn't show me that side of him. Mm-hmm. He never wanted to show me a lesser side of himself. Right. And I think that the same thing goes for people like Robin Williams or Anthony Bourdain, where they build this strong, courageous persona, and they don't want to allow the world to see otherwise.
That's it. It's that illusion.
Yes.
You know, like, and we all do it.
Yep.
That was me, man. At my end of my career, hopefully the end, but my end of my career, I didn't see it. And as general as that sounds, there was people all around me going, bro, you need help. You need to do something different. Yeah. You need to change. I mean, people that didn't even know how to deal with it knew, but I didn't see it. My bills were paid. I lived in a nice home. I didn't own it, but I paid my rent on time. All my bills were paid. I didn't have children out there. I have no back alimony or anything like that from previous failed marriages. Nothing. I was like, I'm not hurting anyone. You know, like, yeah. It didn't make sense. And this is like kind of great that goes into like what we're talking about with Bourdain and stuff is, man, the most dangerous addicts and alcoholics are the functioning ones.
Oh, for sure. Because you can't tell. We can't tell. We can't tell.
And that's the only person that can diagnose you an alcoholic or an addict is fucking you.
Absolutely.
And I mean, a doctor can say, I think he is, but with all the machinery we have, with all the stuff we have, nothing we can hook up to you and tell how much pain you're in. So that's why half the people are addicted to pain medication.
Absolutely.
You can go to the doctor and say, I'm hurting. And he kind of has to believe you. Because there's no machine he can hook you up and say, I don't see any back pain there. You don't see
exactly.
pain. Bro, my back hurts.
Yeah,
there you
exactly.
go. Give me some kind of medication. So no wonder half the planet is addicted to pain pills. All you got to do is be in pain.
Oh, 100%. And not only that, I don't know what corporation it is, but some pharmaceutical company is funding the campaigns for Republican candidates that are against marijuana legalization right now.
Huh. And that makes sense. You know, like why would you want any other alternative form of medicine
cutting into your pocket,
cutting into your profits? Hey, man, we created these addicts out here, and we're going to need them to stay addicted because that's how we get paid.
You know, that is exactly how that goes. And how sad is that? that literally doctors, the people out there who are supposed to save the world, save the people of the world, are literally just the ones that are bringing it down the most, as far as like turning people into addicts, like everyday people. Like when back in the day, it used to be you had to live a rough life and get to running with the wrong crew to become an addict. Now all you have to do is slip and fall at the grocery store and have to go on pills for a couple months, and then try to come off of that. Now they've basically upped their game. If they want to talk about a war on drugs, I think we're at war with the wrong one.
Yeah,
and that's the truth. Now they've been able to turn everyday people into addicts and turn them. Whenever you go back to the doctor, I listen to sports talk every fucking day. There's a commercial that's like, this old woman, she's like, oh, those pain pills that you gave me really done the trick. I was hoping I could get some more of those. And he's like, well, Edna, or whatever her name is.
That's Marge.
I'm not gonna say Edna. That's my step grandmother's name. Sorry, Edna. Sorry, but
no disrespect, Edna.
Okay, Ethel.
Edna. Ethel.
Okay, Ethel.
Allow it.
We can't give Ethel's the ghost that lives in that chair. By the way,
Nice.
Okay, Ethel. We can't give you any more pain pills, but maybe you should try some other methods of fixing this or whatever. So then, how many Ethels are there in the world that go back into the world wanting that feeling, that are not Ethels but Jeffs and Steves and Tinas and Heathers, that go back into the world? How you like those name drops? You like that? But go back into the world that can't get this from a doctor now, and now they have to turn to illegal means of getting that, and then you end up having to mentor them after they come off of these things, after doing heroin.
Here's a scary number for you, and these are real numbers. Out of the hundreds I've come across, hundreds of heroin addicts, not one of them started with heroin. Not one.
All pain pills?
All pain pills.
God almighty.
And so, like the marijuana thing, the gateway drug. Man, first of all, alcohol's the gateway drug. That was first thing I got my hands on.
Shit.
And it just, I tell people why I identify with just about any addict, because whatever I got my hands on, I was addicted to more. So I just say, if somebody wants me to identify what I was addicted to, I just say more.
My favorite thing to do on any drug was more of that drug.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't care what it was. You took 2, okay, give me 4. I mean, that was my addiction, was the adrenaline. I can go back and think about it. Like, I would get adrenaline rushes before I got to the bar. I would be romanticizing like what I was going to drink, what kind of night it was going to be, if I was going to call the dude or not. Before I even put a drink to my lips, I was already salivating.
That's crazy that you bring up what I was going to call the dude or not, because that is the thing. I just kicked my water over. Fuck it. There's a lid. Whenever you get that feeling and you think just for a second, just a shudder of a thought, am I going to call my guy tonight? The amount of serotonin that is released in your brain at that moment. That's the right word, right? Serotonin.
I think so. Yeah.
Happiness, right? That's the right thing, right? Isn't it? If it's not, plug in the right word. You know what I mean? The amount of happiness that explodes inside your brain at the thought of just thinking about calling your drug dealer is fucking great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, I try not to romanticize about those things too much these days, but that's the truth.
Yeah, for sure. But just and same here. I try not to, but in conversation, obviously, and I know that there's a lot of folks that watch on the YouTube that have gone through this and constantly go through this,
right?
And just knowing that, man, there's nothing like that feeling of just thinking about obtaining this drug that you've been deprived of.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember, it was just a recent talk that I had. It might have been Jamie. But anyway, when you think about a certain drug that you do or anything really that you do, and you think that whenever you don't have it, it's the greatest idea in the world to go get it. Mm-hmm. And then whenever you run out of it, all you want is more. And then the next day, you're like, fuck, why did I do that last night? And a few hours later, it's like, you know what? I think I could go for a little bit more.
Yep. It's a never-ending cycle, man. Like, I hear the description all the time. It's like a drain pipe, you know, like you're stuck in that whirlwind and you can't really get out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just going, man.
Yep.
Like you're going down, you know. Yeah. And it's the hardest thing because you don't see it. It's like staring at a Spanish mosaic tile with all these crazy tiles, but you got your face this close to it. And so all you could really see is just a few tiles, and everything else is blurry as hell. And so those tiles that you can see, it's like, well, I paid my rent, I'm okay over here. Well, I might get kicked out, but that's tomorrow, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But when you get sober, it's like you kind of
back
away, and you see the whole picture, and you're
For
like,
sure.
Holy shit, what the hell have I been doing? Like, it's like, it's tough, man. You know, I guess one of the things that I ran into going back to, I guess, to what we were saying earlier, when I was having problems, when shit wasn't seeming right, early on, my friend told me, he said, Josh, you can do whatever you want to do. As long as you stay sober, you can literally do whatever you want to do. And I'm like, he's just saying the shit to be nice. Like, you have to say this, whatever. But, man, I called him a couple weeks ago, and I was like, bro, do you realize that I can do whatever I want to do? He's like, yeah.
Told you.
That's what I told you. I wasn't kidding. And I'm like, no, I thought you were kidding, man. Like, that didn't really make sense. Like, sound like a little kid when you're like, Mom, can I be anything I want to be when I grow up? She goes, sure, be an astronaut. Be a fireman. That's what it felt like. But, man, I had this moment, and it was a couple weeks ago, and it was like everything just started falling into place. Opportunities started coming out the yin-yang, all because I finally closed the doors at something I was teetering with. What do I do? I'm not sure. And finally I said, you know what? I got to make a decision, close those doors. And sure enough, as soon as you close doors, many will start to open.
As long as you close the right doors.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing with being sober. Now, those doors were always opening, and lots of times when I was drunk, I would fall backwards into, killer relationships, beautiful women, great jobs. It was like I would stumble into it, like I was the luckiest guy on the planet, But that was kind of like getting lucky with life, but there were plenty of times where I stumbled the wrong way, plenty of those bumps in the road, but now that you're being sober, you get to really look at those things with discernment. You get to like not judge situations,
just to analyze it,
evaluate them.
Yeah, exactly.
With a clear mind. Remember that same mind that has those crazy good ideas when you're drunk? Now, bits and pieces of them were good, but it wasn't a great idea as a whole.
The idea itself was decent.
Yeah.
Or the
maybe.
Or I said that wrong. Like I guess the body of water from which that particular stream flows might be a good idea machine, but let's stay off of this part of the river.
Yeah. But now, like, that's the difference. That's the difference between now and the last time we talked, is it's even more clearer. And I'm not saying I'll make the right decisions, because, bro, I make mistakes every single day.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the difference. I almost recognize immediately when I make a mistake.
That's what changes.
And here's a gift of sobriety. When you really get sober, you get honest. And when you get honest, you take full-on accountability. And, man, at first that seems sketchy. That's scary. Like, well, I don't want the finger to be pointed at me. Well,
why not?
What happens if they point the finger at you? And it gives you the ball. It does. The minute somebody says, well, you did this and you did that, and you go, you know what? I did. And I apologize, and I wish I hadn't have done that. If they keep going, they're repeating themselves. They're beating the dead horse then. So that's why you got the ball, and you can just say, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, I just said sorry, And I just said, I'll do everything I can not to repeat myself. I recognize what I did was wrong. And how can we move further? Because you keep doing this isn't moving anywhere. It's just spinning mud. You see what I'm saying? So
Oh, yeah, for sure.
When you take accountability, you take control. You literally have the ball.
Yeah.
So there's no more. It takes all question out of it. And again, I'm not saying we need to go through and say, you know what, hey man, that was my fault, and hey, that was my fault. But when it was, or even just a piece of it.
Yeah.
So you say, well, you did this, but you did this. Well, you did this. How about this? I did all of it. Where can we go from here? And it's like, that will just about stop almost everybody in their tracks.
Abby here says that's the key.
That's the key. How long you been sober, Abby? 31 years?
31 years. She says still get, and I assume I apologize, Abby, still get in the fog, but gets lighter every curve.
Yeah.
After 31 years.
You know what I said?
Abby, just curious, what was your, what were you suffering from back then? What was your, what are you clean from? Anyway, yeah, what were you, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But just that, like, the gift of accountability sounds like the strangest gift on the planet. But when you use it, bro, it's like some Yoda shit. It's like you literally, you just Yoda'd whoever, when you go, okay, it was my fault, you're right, I'm wrong, how do we move forward? And most people they're not going to know what to do, or they're just going to be like, well, I'm still mad. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, somebody told me early, Josh, if somebody has a problem with you, that's their problem. And I'm like, huh. Like, I used to kind of make that my problem.
Yeah.
Like, why do you not like me? Or why do you disagree with me? I almost want a definitive answer why you disagree with me. Well, why don't you just disagree? I'm the only one making that an issue. You see what I'm saying? Like, you kind of give the ball back. You just Yoda'd somebody. If somebody has a problem with you and you ain't got a problem with it, they just hanging on to that problem.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's not a pass to go out and be, an asshole to society. No, not at all. Again, the ability to take accountability is priceless. It's priceless.
Powerful.
I mean, it will give you this sense that you can do anything. That you, like my buddy said, you can do anything you want to do. And part of that is just being able to take accountability. And man, you have that, and you stop pointing fingers around. Somebody said this the other day. They're like, when did we learn that? Think when you're little and you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar and there's chocolate chip cookies all over your face.
Yeah.
And your mom goes, what did you do? And you go, it wasn't me.
Nobody taught you to do that.
Yeah. So basically from the get-go, we don't want to take accountability for ourselves. That's why when people with addictions hang out with other people with addictions, here's why. Because why is it a problem if I'm doing something, if the guy to my left of me is doing it and the guy to my right of me is doing it? Then it ain't.
Yeah.
Now we kind of sort of spread out the problem.
Then it becomes less of a problem in your own head.
Yeah.
Not less of a problem, but less of a problem in your head. Cocaine was mine too, Abby. That was the probably about the worst that I got. The stuff that I was getting there towards the end, though, they told me that it was cut with meth. So I don't count meth, but I count cocaine because that's in my mind what I thought it was when I was doing it.
I liked uppers too.
Oh, yeah, that was my deal.
What I found out was I was just doing them to drink more because I was kind of a lightweight. I'm only, I'm kind of a smaller dude, and it would piss me off that I couldn't hang with people. And when I found that, it was like the magic drug.
Oh, for sure.
I was like, oh, man. I used to literally say, I need something to sober me up.
Yeah.
How ridiculous is that?
Well, you know this because of my big mouth, because I have a podcast now, y'all, but before I had a podcast, I would literally just go around into the world and tell everybody everything that I did. You know that, because I was never quiet about the shit that I was doing, ever. And I didn't really start messing with coke hard until I quit drinking. Like, I stopped drinking and started doing cocaine and just realized I was just transferring. I was just experiencing transference.
Right.
And then I realized, well, I don't think that I can stop something unless I pick up something else. Once I realized that, I was like, well, maybe if the thing that I pick up next isn't a drug or isn't something that, that can kill me,
Right.
then it won't be that bad. So that's where the podcast came from.
Yeah. And a lot of that is obviously suggested from, my peers.
Yeah.
Is, find something healthy to kind of get into. But really, it's digging deeper into yourself and finding who you truly, really are. And so, it's like you were made for this, bro.
So were you, though. You should do this.
What? No, man.
No. Hear me out. Seriously, hear me out. Like, for real. Whether you think you aren't for this or not, you have a unique experience. Not many people can look an addiction straight in the face and turn away from it. Mm-hmm. Not many people can do that. And there's a lot of people out there that want to know and want help. On Bradley Parker in the house. What up, Bradley? Bradley Parker's going to be on the podcast soon. We're going to do that. But seriously.
I hope you listen, Bradley.
Yeah, for real. No, I love you, Bradley.
Just kidding.
But seriously.
Kinda.
No, but like you need this, man. Or not you need this. I don't mean to say that, but you need to tell this story. You need to get this out. There's not enough people, I don't think, that are talking to everybody about it. And just saying like what I did earlier, like just being in front of a camera, right, talking to yourself, knowing that somebody in the future will be able to watch it, whether there's 0 viewers in the watching column or 100.
Sure.
Knowing that somebody is going to be able to learn from this on a grand scale, and you'll have aha moments just in listening to yourself talk.
Right.
Once you get to the point where you're saying all of the shit that you did, like you were talking about just a few minutes ago. I remember having a thought that like I when I stopped drinking, I started roasting myself so that nobody else could. Mm-hmm. Roast yourself so that nobody else has the opportunity.
Right.
And I was just
not healthy.
Well, no. I'm not saying like roasting myself in a bad way, but airing out all of my problems, talking about all of my things, getting them out because keeping them in my head was a dangerous place. You 100% should set up a fucking phone in front of you and literally just talk to it for 20 minutes a week, 20 minutes a week, and just talk about your issues and the things that go. Start a blog. I'm an advocate. I think that everybody should have a podcast. Everybody should talk. Everybody should have a way to get shit off of their chest without having to go to a doctor. Sure. You don't understand how therapeutic it is to just talk to yourself. And I know that sounds crazy, but
well, here's one thing. I get to do that every day. I don't necessarily do it on this form of media, but I get to talk and tell my story every day, and I could do it 5 times a day if I wanted to, and that's a really beautiful thing. Like,
yeah.
It's really, it's not only important to help when you can.
Yes.
But it's a really integral part of my own sobriety, because the people I work with, I'm like, you don't understand. I'm not going to teach you something that I'm not living by.
Bradley texted us a while ago.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, so I can't stand one of my pet peeves or whatever you want to call it is the do as I say, not as I do guy.
Oh yeah.
I can't stand that. Now, if I like what you got to say and what you do, then yeah, man, I got no problem taking suggestions from you. I like what you say and what you do, but not half of that equation. Actually, if there's only half of that equation, I almost dislike you even more. Because I don't know. I just feel like there's not a lot of growth that can be found with that, and you're not gonna trust people with that. And so again, why would I work with anybody if I too am not living that life? And it keeps me accountable. there again, accountability. But
that's the biggest thing.
Gift. No one wants the finger pointed at them, but when you actually take it, you go, shit, that was pretty good. Like, it's not too bad. All kinds of ways gives you this sense of freedom, man.
Yep.
This like sense of relief. Like, you know what? Almost taking it all on, when you take it off of others, it gives you relief too.
Absolutely.
Because you don't feel like you're throwing it on people. You know what I'm saying? And like, and if you can take accountability for your part in it, that's when you can move on.
There's power in that.
That's when you can grow.
Absolutely.
That's the, I tell people these days, I'm like, it's not hard to appreciate God's apparent gifts. The rainbow that's perfectly across the sun's the horizon.
Yeah.
The sunrise that's just like God's painting that's unlike anything other. You're like, man, I missed the best sunrise, or you guys missed the best sunrise the other morning.
Exactly.
I caught it. I mean, those things aren't hard to appreciate, but if you're able to get through like the shitty stuff, the curveballs, the speed bumps in life that are gonna happen. That life happens. People die. People get in accidents. People, the shitty parts of life, the thunderstorms per se.
Yeah.
If you can find the beauty in those things, and there's beauty in all of it. There's beauty in all of it.
There absolutely is.
I mean, every bit of it. Just like the yin and yang, there can't be dark unless there's light. There can't be light unless there's dark. And it's even. It's equal. It is 100% equal. So if there's not this much pain, there can only be this much joy.
Yeah.
That's the equal parts. That's
absolutely.
Pain was created so we could appreciate joy.
It's funny that you bring that up. I was literally gonna say my dad used to say one of the greatest gifts that God gave us outside of Jesus was pain.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't think about things like that of being a gift, and he used the analogy, like, if you go put your hand on a coffee cup and it burns, it's pain that tells you need to let go of that.
Yep.
And that's as bare of an analogy as you need to apply in every aspect of your life.
So what did we do? When we were boozing, when we were drugging, when we were doing whatever we were doing, a lot of people say this, I was just trying to numb the pain. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if you're numbing that pain, if you're fogging up those glasses of any situation, that's where you're not going to have, you didn't learn a lesson because you numb that pain.
Absolutely.
If pain was a good thing, you actually blocked it. Mm-hmm. You said, no, God, I don't want that pain. I'll throw some Jameson on that pain. I'll get rid of that pain real quick.
Yeah.
They call it growing pains for a reason.
Right.
It hurts. But the best shit, the growth, is from the pain.
Well, that's like that old, and I've said this several times on the podcast. The old the guy who's talking about the rabbi talking about the lobster, the lobster that doesn't want to get out of its shell, but it gets uncomfortable and it grows and it can't grow any further in that shell, so it has to shed it.
Right.
So it is that uncomfort. It is that uncomfortability that causes this lobster to feel like it needs to shed its shell so that it can grow a new one. And by the way, Bradley Parker says, absolutely, Josh has always been there when I needed him. I don't always listen, but he was always there. Bradley, listen, buddy, you're doing you as hard as anybody in the world can. I love you, buddy. But listen, we're gonna get you in here to talk about all that. He says he's facing the fact alcohol's ruined everything good in his life.
Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you one thing too. I will still always be there. I hope so.
Bradley Parker's the last person to see me drunk.
Huh? How about that?
Yep.
Wow.
We're gonna talk about that, but
that's gonna be. I'll make sure to tune in for that.
That's gonna be a ridiculous episode. I think me and Bradley and I think Tyler Brown wants to be in it.
My last
on
drunk,
that one too.
Man. I like that.
Dude, and Bradley, you're in the comments right now. You can confirm this, and I'm sorry, and I've apologized to you several times since. But the last night I was drunk. And it is hard to define the pain at the time, Abby, 100%. Sometimes pain doesn't always show itself as pain. But
that's the truth.
Ain't it? But I slapped Bradley in the face so many times that last night I was drunk. I'm sorry. I slapped a lot of people in the face that night. I used to like to get drunk. There were certain things I like to do when I got drunk, and you probably remember I used to like to, one, pull my balls out. Two,
damn it, visual memory.
Two, I like to slap people in the face, and I don't know. There's several other things I like to do when I was drunk. I like to try to kiss people a lot and make them uncomfortable and just fuck with people all the time when I was drunk. But I just kept slapping people, and I slapped Bradley a few times. I'm sorry, Bradley, but he gave, after I did that to him, and after I talked shit to him, and like just was an absolute dickhead to Bradley. He fucking gave me a ride home that night and sat here with me until he knew I was all right.
Right.
And then fucking left. He sat here with me because I was like on a different plane that night. I don't know if you saw me that night.
I'm not sure.
But I was walking around Tito's throwing fastballs with cue balls at the back door of Tito's. I was picking up pool balls just like.
I'm glad I missed that night. I'm glad I missed that night.
Punching holes in the wall in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It was not a good night. But anyway, sorry about that, Bradley. But yes.
Pain.
Dude. The greatest gift we were given, other than Jesus Christ Himself from God, my dad always says, was pain. You know what?
Some of the most remarkable people that I admire the most, they all kind of say the same thing about addiction and this whole this whole thing, and it's real simple. When you have enough pain, you'll have enough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's the part with you can't compartmentalize. You can't put in a textbook, because just like when you go to the doctor, what do they say to you? From a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest and 10 being the most painful, how much pain are you in? Well, you are the only one that can decide how much it hurts.
Yep.
So that's why, that functioning addict, alcoholic, whatever you want to call them, is the most dangerous, because they have so many reasons to believe they don't have a problem.
And plus, a 7 can feel like a 2 after you've dealt with it for a while.
Exactly. So you don't, if you keep getting, if you have enablers.
Yeah.
If somebody was telling me, they're like, man, attractive women are the most dangerous addicts and alcoholics. I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. And like, think about it. No matter what, they always will find somebody to prop them up. And I was like, holy cow. That changed my whole game. That changed my whole outlook on life. Like, and then you think about it, like, no matter what, man, no matter what. I mean, there might come a point in time where those guys are sick of that, but there's going to be somebody right behind them that'll go, hey, I'll give it a whirl.
Oh, exactly.
Know? I mean, just out of sheer vanity. Out of sheer vanity. And that's again, you know how dangerous that is for the actual addict?
Oh, yeah.
Because, man, they're not going to hit their bottom. They always got somebody to catch them right before they hit it. And if you don't have enough pain, you ain't going to get no help, bro. Because I hadn't had enough pain yet, so I think I'm going to give this go one more try. I tell my new guys, I'm like, bro, if you go back out, that is like you went 10 rounds with Mike Tyson, and he whipped your ass every round. And you came back and you said, you know what? Okay, Mike, I ain't going to fight another round. I concede, whatever. I'm throwing in the white towel. This ain't happening no more. You go a year down the road, it's like you're walking down the road one day and you want to drink again or use drugs again or whatever. That's literally like you saying, you know what? I think I'm going to call Mike Tyson up and see if we can go one more round. Bro, you already lost. You already got your ass beat so many times that you ended up here, that you ended up asking for help.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me that this disease isn't mental?
Right.
That it's not, because that's insanity. It's what that is.
100%.
You got your ass beat by Mike Tyson, and you still go, I think I'll go one more round.
Speaking of which,
and Mike's just going.
Have you seen that video of him like shadow boxing like last week or last month? It's been recent, dude. 51-year-old Mike Tyson. Nobody don't want none of that.
No,
nobody.
Sir.
Still to this day.
No, sir. And that's the thing. But we do that. We as alcoholics, that's why we're going to have it our whole life.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of people being sober for 10, 20, 30 years. I mean, and being on a plane, and next thing you know, they had a martini in their hand. And they're like, what the hell? And then next thing you know, they're blackout drunk. 20 years sober.
I know a guy that used to come and see Cornbread all the time. He was a big Cornbread fan, and we would see him at gigs, and every time I would see him, he would just be fucking hammered. And he was telling me, and I quit drinking for 20 something years. Like I just stopped drinking for 20 something years, and just one day, I had a drink, and all it takes is one.
Yeah.
And I've been there, and I've like. And I play with fire a lot. I always keep the wolf at the door. There's always been a bottle of liquor in the freezer just for podcast guests and shit like that. And I mean, technically, it's sort of like a way for me to flex that particular muscle to know if I wanted it, I could have it.
Yeah.
And for 3 years, I haven't.
Right.
And that's fucking that. There's power in that because I have that ability. I've harnessed it. I mean, right now, I'm looking at right where it is. I know exactly where it's at, and I could have it at any given time.
Right.
But got to that one point where I realized there's nothing that I can do. There's nothing in this world that will be able to lead me back down that path that I was on. Just because I'm not. I've seen the other side. I've seen the other side of the fence. I've seen the bottom of the fucking barrel on that side.
Right.
And I've just recently seen the bottom of the barrel on this side. And I will take the bottom of this barrel 1,000 times before that one I even have that thought again.
Right, right. And I mean, that's a good place to be. But I don't know. A buddy was telling me early on, he said, given any circumstance, no matter who you are, you're liable to be your shadow. You're liable to be whatever you're not portrayed as. He would use, say Mother Teresa, she could handle whatever, blah, blah, racist remarks, whatever. That's not going to bother Mother Teresa. But you put Mother Teresa in a cage with a tiger, and Mother Teresa's not going to be blessing that tiger. She's going to be survival techniques. Mother Teresa might be climbing that cage to get the hell out of it and 80 years old. So I think the kind of the point is no one is immune to situations. No one is situationally immune. Meaning that's why we never say, I'm sober and I'll be sober the rest of my life. I'll never have a drink again. You don't know that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You don't know what situation, what's going to come up that all of a sudden, where did this martini come from and why is it halfway gone? Well, I've already drank half of it. Might as well keep going.
Yeah.
You don't know. Again, everybody would think Gandhi, whoever, is going to handle these situations, but you put them in the middle of a riot, a middle of a life and death situation.
Let their survival instincts kick in.
Let the survival instincts kick in and see how Gandhi's going to react, or Mother Teresa, or whoever.
Yeah.
The most calm dude on the marsh walk. If he's put in the right situation, that dude might wreck everybody. You don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So that we kind of have to approach, especially our alcoholic addict minds like that. Like, I know what I'm capable of. I've already done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so if I've already done it, then I'm always capable of it.
Oh,
that don't
for sure.
mean I'm going to. I do things every day to make sure I don't go down that road, like you said, because I know both sides of it.
Yeah.
What do I hear all the time? My worst day sober is 10 times better than my best day drunk. Well, I was in a rock band for 25 years. I had some really good fucking drunk times.
Same.
I'm not even trying to.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the truth. Now, is my best day drunk better than my best day sober? I don't think so. That's way beyond.
Yeah.
I've reached a level of just acceptance, of accountability that's again these gifts that I never thought I never even knew they were gifts. And it's like, man, all you had to do was do that, and you could kind of gift yourself, sort of. Surrender to win. Like, that sounds like a strange tactic, but the minute you say, okay, I give up, that's normally when it's like, holy shit, I feel good.
Yeah.
I don't have to fight animore.
That's
I don't have
the
to
thing.
fight anything.
That's the thing.
I don't have to have an opinion. I don't have to, Here's one of the smartest fucking things I've ever heard in my life. This guy said the other day, he said, you know what I do? I pick out one day a week where I don't have a damn opinion. He goes, I don't care where I am. I'm the grocery store. I'm at the gym. I don't care, and I don't care what it's about. It could be about something that I'm really strongly opinionated about. The Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem. I'm a veteran. I have strong emotional feelings about that. But if it's that day, let's say I picked Wednesday. Wednesday's No Opinion Wednesday. If that day I'm approached with it, I say, I'm sorry, sir or ma'am, I don't have an opinion today. And he goes, you have no idea the freedom that gives you. No idea. If you don't have to feel like I got to go out there and share my opinion, it's like, who cares? I'm just little old Josh. Does it really damn matter? Does it really matter? And that's sort of taking the accountability. Like, you know what? Well, what do you feel about Trump? Well, don't really care. I ain't got really too much involved in it right now. I'm trying to run a small business. I pay my taxes, man. To be honest with you, I don't have an opinion on that. What he tweeted and whatever else. Now, if I took enough time out of my day, I bet I could come up with an opinion.
Oh, for sure.
I bet I could worry so much that my opinion is prophetic and going to change the lives of other. Then it's going to take up a third of my day. Now, next thing you know, I'm arguing with some dude in Sioux Falls, Iowa, because he's a Democrat.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a Facebook war. And now, dude, you know how much time of your life you just wasted
from one opinion?
Your opinion?
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
Absolutely.
Like that. There's a relief in that. There's this, like, again, not a sense of power.
Yeah.
Almost like a weight off your shoulders. Hey, you know what? When I don't have to have an opinion, it's pretty freeing. It's pretty
absolutely.
nice. Instead of getting involved if somebody is trying to jam politics down your throat, they think one way. And if you already have your beliefs and you're thinking this other way, especially on Facebook, you ain't going to turn a Trump supporter into a Bernie supporter.
Facebook's the worst place to have this conversation.
I mean, anywhere, the Twitter, whatever it's called.
The internet, social media is the worst place to try to convince somebody to change their opinion.
You ain't going to change
Nobody.
no one.
Nobody.
I mean, if you're thinking this way, that's cool. If you're thinking that way, man, that's cool too. That's what freedom's supposed to be. We're supposed to be allowed to have opinions.
Yes. You think this thing and I think this different thing and we can have this conversation, that's what needs to happen.
That doesn't mean we got to hate each other because we think different.
Absolutely.
I think we learned that in like the second grade or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man.
Are they still teaching that though?
I mean, I don't know.
Are they still teaching that?
I don't know.
And teachers, are y'all still teaching that? Let me know. Seriously, are y'all still teaching like it's okay to have a different opinion? It's okay to like something different? Because it seems now that you notice this, and I noticed a lot of this in the Tim Pool episode of Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know if you keep up with Rogan at all.
A little bit.
But Tim Pool was on there recently with the lawyer and Jack Dorsey from Twitter, the CEO of Twitter and Twitter's lawyer. And he was just talking about how, and then don't take this, my listeners, don't take this as me having an opinion on this, because I really don't. But just in the vein of what we're talking about, is that he came up with several different ways of proving that Twitter was biased, had a leftist bias. Mm-hmm. That like people can say negative things about Trump and their tweets won't be deleted, but if somebody says anything negative about another group of people, as in like Muslims or another group of people or something, their tweets will be deleted and maybe banned from Twitter. And he brought up several different occasions where this was the case, to where everybody, like, if you don't agree with our way of thinking, then we're going to remove you from this platform. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of that going on. And I really just think that there's not enough healthy conversation around having a different opinion. Yeah. And that's the key in getting further and like bettering ourselves as a nation, I think, is just understanding that you don't have to have the same opinion as me, nor I you. Right. This is totally fine for us to have different opinions and just move along with our day. Once you realize that somebody feels differently about you, it's not then your job to convince them to change their mind to be more like you.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of people don't understand that. Okay, and I admit it. I was the world's worst, and I be perfectly honest. One of the people who took the brunt of that more so than anybody else was Chief, my roommate. You remember Chief? I say my roommate because you knew that, but the YouTubers didn't. But for the longest time, my roommate Chief, like I would just spend just fucking hours of saying, "Oh, this is how I do this, and this is how I," and I explain why I do these things a certain way. And like we get nowhere out of that. We get nowhere out of that, and I just turn into an asshole, and that's just all there is to that. But there's nothing wrong with somebody doing something differently than you, and that was one of the hardest lessons I've had to learn. Yeah. And that's one of the main points I try to make on this podcast because it was such a hard lesson for me to learn.
Right. You know what I watched this? I have that.
Debbie Does Dallas.
What is it called? It's a Vice channel. I have one of those internet TVs, whatever, and it has some really crazy shows. Like cooking on high. I mean, no, not really that one. One was black guy. God, I can't remember his name. He's super funny, but he's he's not the comedian, but there's another one, and it's called like
Action Bronson.
I don't think so. I don't know. Anyway, his whole platform is obviously like a racism, but he goes straight to KKK. Like black dude that just finds people, doesn't infiltrate them, just contacts people and says, "I would like to meet you. Is there any way we can meet together for coffee? I want to take you out to lunch or whatever." And his approach with this is, it's the most beautiful thing. Like, he doesn't try to preach his beliefs like you shouldn't be hating any race or anything like this. His first thing is he finds commonality. He goes, "Okay, we've established you don't like me, and I don't like the fact that you don't like me. Well, what's some things that you do like? Do you fish? Well, hell yeah, I love fishing." He goes, "Me too. There any good ponds around here we can go fishing?" "Well, shit." He goes, you start talking about fishing with a good old boy, and it don't matter what color you are.
Open up like a can of sardines.
He said, "Buddy, I got the secret spot. You know, I ain't never told anybody, and we catch the biggest bass." And he goes, "Next thing you know, it's 3 hours later, I'm having coffee with a guy that was wearing a Ku Klux Klan outfit the night before, and we're sitting on the same log, dropping a line in the same mud hole." That's beauty, man. And all he did was find commonality. Awesome. He just found commonality. He said, "Bro, we the same. Just because you don't like me, the reason why you don't like me is because you're afraid, because you're uneducated. I didn't like you because I was afraid of you because I didn't grow up around white people.
Exactly.
I'm uneducated. That it's just fear. And when you find commonality, fear kind of goes out the window. Yeah. It's like you could be traveling in the middle of nowhere, and your car breaks down, and you got a Grateful Dead shirt on, ratty old Grateful Dead shirt on, and you walk 5 miles to a gas station, and you're on the way to a Widespread show or something. You walk in a gas station, you see somebody with a Widespread shirt on, it's like seeing an angel from God. Yep. You're going, "Bro, are you going to the next show? Can you give us a ride? Can you go back there?" Because they're probably going to go back and help you. Because
they really are very helpful people.
Well, they just like addicts and whatever, chances are, if you're traveling around Widespread, you've had a flat tire before. Yeah. You've been helped out by somebody else before. Same thing.
Absolutely.
You have that commonality. Now, if you walked into Texas Chainsaw Massacre gas station and ain't nobody around, and you're like, "Excuse me, sir, we gonna need a tire down the road, and can we hold the chainsaws?"
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's that. I don't know, man.
I almost watched that last night.
No, thank you.
I clicked on it. I clicked on it, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that."
Yeah, man. But see what I'm saying? Like, just a different approach. Just to being able to look at something through a different set of eyes, a different pair of glasses, man. Like,
that's why I wear these.
I love it.
Seriously, 1,000,000%. So to remind myself constantly that I'm looking at shit differently now. I didn't wear these till I went sober. You ever notice that?
No, I didn't notice that. I remember the Batman, but that's awesome. I love that. That's a great reminder. Every day you put those glasses on, you can remember, like,
constantly. I'm looking at something through different lenses.
And here's another gift of sobriety. We have this thing called choice now. Yep. Before, we didn't have a choice. Before, when you woke up in the morning, it was either, did I do it all or do I need to go get more?
Yep.
You ain't got a choice between the two.
Yep.
You might make it a day or two. I ain't gonna I'm through with that shit. I ain't gonna do it no more.
But then you got to shake so bad that
Nope.
you'd rather
You're going
choose.
right back.
Yep.
You don't have a choice.
Absolutely.
And that's where the commonality with the no matter what addict you are, you can relate to. Because man, once you take that power of choice out, you're fucked. That is your number one thing. You can say, "Oh man, well I still take care of my kids and I still pay my bills and I still do this." But if really that's your number one, take that guy out and see if you still are doing all those things I just listed. Let's just take it completely out of the game, and you're going to be like, you're not going to be able to function when you wake up. Well, where's my shit? Well, now I got to think about, I got to get my shit. And the next thing you know, then your whole day's late. Because your rhythm is all off.
Because everything's based on finding the hookup.
So again, you don't see that that's the problem. You say, that is not my number one thing. My number one is my fill in the blank. Whatever it is, my wife, my kid, my whatever, my job. That's my number one. Look, I have a great record. Okay? Well, let's take this out of the whole equation, and we'll see what number one is.
Oh, for sure.
And that's the scariest shit, man. I mean, like, you don't. And when you take that ability of choice, that gift of choice away, man, it is the most demoralizing. When you don't feel like you have a choice, man, you're a slave to yourself.
Absolutely.
And man, I can't imagine. You know, I've been locked up a couple of times, not in prison, but spent a couple nights in jail, and I can't imagine living in captivity. And that's the way I was living, man. I was living in my own prison.
That's what you create in your own mind. You create, well, not in your own world. You create a prison, and the gatekeeper is whatever you're, whether it's up your nose, in a shot cup, in your arm, no matter what it is you do, you are 100% confined by those four walls.
Yeah. And so again, like what I tell people that are new and they're scared shitless, that are shaken, that don't know, that don't have any hope, that don't have anything, that once you get whatever it is, the physical side out of your system, man, you're going to have to work the rest of your life on the mental side. The rest of your life. That's that doctor that you're going to have to go see pretty much every day. It's okay. We're going to live. We can live as long as you go see that doctor. But when you get that physical, the real physical withdrawal, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure the only thing you can die from withdrawal is alcohol.
Yep.
The only thing. You can feel like you're dying off heroin, but you ain't actually going to die. Alcohol, yes, you can seize and die. So it is never a good thing if you drink every day to just stop.
I found out about that about 2 months after I quit drinking.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah. And I'm talking, you can have delayed DTs. I mean, all kind of shit. And you can get so sick that you can't come out of it, man. And that's a scary, scary thing. But, again, I think it's different for everybody. I don't know what the medical term is, but you hit this point in early sobriety where it's kind of like the physical shit's gone. Like you wake up in the morning and you're like, I kind of don't want to drink. I'm thinking about it. But I'm not like, I want to drink or drug or whatever. And that's when that beautiful gift of choice comes back. So like you said, you can choose to go get a bottle anytime you want.
Yep.
But it's your choice.
It's my choice.
And man, now, when you apply that to, I don't know, any situation in life, any situation.
Yep.
Hey, Josh, do you want to come work for me? I don't know. It's my choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Hey, Josh, do you want to do this? You know what? Now that I have choices, it's amazing. Like, there is a whole... It's just like my buddy said. You can do whatever you want to do. And I thought he was just saying that. I thought he was just being nice.
Ironically enough, that's how the conversation started, is saying that, that thing that our parents used to tell us is real.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not just words that they use.
And basically, the whole time, that everything that's been holding us back from all those things we wanted, we were padding that pain that we didn't want to deal with. But that pain is the growth. So that's why it kind of feels like we're doing the same shit. Man, my whole life felt like a big circle. It felt like I'd be up here and I'd do this and then... And it was like, and then it'd come back around.
Fish in a barrel.
Be in a new relationship, be in a new job, being whatever, and it's same thing. And I'm like, am I just the unluckiest guy on the planet? What the hell's going on? No, man. That was the cycle that was my rhythm. Yeah. That I'd been meticulously working out that beat for years.
Yeah. And that's a good way to think about it.
And didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So you've been walking... The term, that guy walks to a beat of a different drummer. Yeah. You've been walking to a beat of the same drummer for 35 years. Try to walk to a beat of a different drummer. You're going to be like, oh, shit. What am I doing here now? Homeboy's all out of time, brother. Yeah. You missed it. I'm on the 1 and 3, and you on the 2 and 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's I don't know, man. When you really, really look at this thing, and you realize it was you the whole time, and then you can take accountability for that. That's when the freedom comes.
Absolutely.
That's when the whatever I want, and you can. You 100% go work wherever you want. Go do whatever you want. You know, it's funny you said the podcast thing. I had a friend the other day tell me, she goes, I had a dream that you went into ministry. And I was like, what? That is probably the wildest dream I've heard some whoppers. People have called me and said, Josh, I had a dream about you, and it was messed up. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. You know, I'm pretty crazy. No, this was, Josh, I think you might have a calling in ministry. And I was like, ha, 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 you know, whatever, what's going on? She's like, I'm serious. You know, like, I'm being 100% serious in this. And I'm like, you know, that's just, man, I have a newfound faith in God, and it's a strong part. I call it God, you know, higher power, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah. I call it God too.
I have a concept of God these days, and it's my concept. Yeah. It's not punishing. He's my buddy, like literally my buddy.
Steve Harvey picks on white people about how we talk to God like he's our buddy.
yeah, dude. I mean, but you know what? If you want your God to be stern that you can't talk to, like your mean old uncle that came from the military and only deals with things like this, and you know, if you don't do the things that I do the right way, then I'm going to punish you. Thing. Then that's your God. Yep. Cool, man. If that works for you, cool. My God's like, hey, man, what's going on?
Oh yeah.
You know.
Same here.
Hey, did you see what you did today? Yeah.
That probably wasn't the best one.
Do you need to work on that again, Josh? Yeah. All right, cool. That's about the extent of it is. And lots of gratitude. Lots of going, I don't ask God for anything anymore. Anything. I pray in the morning when I get up. I pray at night before I go to bed. And I don't ask for shit. What I do say is thank you.
That's the best, and that's the best feeling that you can get. I'm the same way, buddy.
Even when you are at the lowest of the low, one of the first things I tell anyone, when you want to go this, and if their fault, and if this whole cruel world, I say write down 5 things you're grateful for. And you know what's funny? You ask somebody that's say 3 or 5 days sober or 2 weeks sober to write down 5 things that they're grateful for. They'll call you back 2 days later and say, I got 2. I'm serious.
Really?
Because all you can think is this cruel world. All you can think is, what made me end up in this situation? Yep. Why me? Poor me. And, you know, it wasn't for all these other people. I should have never happened to me. No, man.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
You know, like, that's again, I don't know, man, that gift, the unbelievable gift of choice. All comes back to that choice. And it was like, this was all of my choosing. Misery, all this misery, my choice.
Yep.
You know, I mean, like, I was all upset about being lied to and cheated on and all this stuff, right? And I'm like, you know, in sobriety. And I'm like, hold on, man, I'm doing the right thing. I was trying to, like, I'm being honest. Yeah. I'm not doing any of those things. Why did I deserve to be lied to and cheated on and all this stuff when again, I'm doing the right thing? And then I look back at it, and I really look back at it. I'm like, well, you knew they were lying then, and you went right back. So
Yeah.
why, again, if you want to accept your part in that situation, now, was it right for them to lie to me? Hell no. That's wrong.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
My fault in the situation was I went right back and I chose to believe them when I knew every piece of my body said they are lying to you. Run, get away from this. I'm not sure I'm gonna listen to this sign you're sending me, God. Oh, there goes this. No, I don't know if I believe that sign again. You got enough pain, you'll change.
Oh, for sure.
You get enough pain, you will change something.
I was doing a solo talk the other day, and I came to the realization that like your emotions, just like muscle memory in your muscles, your emotions also have muscle memory.
Oh yeah.
So whenever you say, even after in sobriety, when I'm still thinking about these things that are bothering me, it's because your emotions are just so used to going there. And here recently in my own life, I've been trying to not be negative in band life. Like there was a really long time in the podcast when I was just talking about all the shit that was going wrong in the band and how pissed off I was at Adam or Smitty about just bullshit or whatever was going on, and that was all I was talking about. But I realized that it was just, things really aren't that bad. It's just me remembering the wrong parts of this and thinking about, just like you saying earlier, about the things that I'm not sure exactly how you worded it, but basically that our differences are not as important as our similarities. Yeah. The things we have in common are what's going to keep us together rather than the things that differ between us, because the things that you have in common are tenfold more important than anything that you might disagree on.
Yeah.
And if you think pro and con the situation as to like, okay, well, if I write on this list how all the things we have in common and that we enjoy about each other, and then all the things that we don't have in common and that we hate about each other, and figure out, what this is, and then you sit back and look at it and be like, did I really just need to make a list to do that, or do I just need to fucking lighten up?
Yeah. And therein lies that opinion that don't mean shit.
Yes. But
how much of it is opinion and how much is it pre-programmed emotion?
Absolutely.
Dude, it's like we're hardwired. I said this today and about these donuts. I said, if you go get a donut every day, if you get off work at 4 and you stop by Krispy Kreme and get one donut every day at 4:30, and you do that for 15, 20 years, stop. Just don't go get that donut, and you're going to flip shit.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to lose. It's not going to compute.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be off because you did the same thing over and over. You programmed yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You were hardwired. So if you always dealt with good segue, heartache, deception, being unfaithful, if you always dealt with things that way, that's going to be your first initial emotion.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. If you, like me, if I was pretty much been an alcoholic my whole life since I was 15, then all those adult issues I've never dealt with the right way. I stopped by and got a donut every day, the wrong way. I went around Socastee to get to Garden City. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Even though it was, hey, I do this every day. Well, Josh, did you know you could just go through Garden City and that's it? You don't have to drive 30 miles an hour? You see what I'm getting at? Like,
you were overcorrecting.
Yeah. Well, we have these hardwired, like, this is how I've dealt with this situation every time.
Yeah.
And when we're put in those situations,
absolutely,
sometimes things go red and black, and that's how we deal with them.
Yep.
We just say, boom, this, and that's when normally your mouth gets you in trouble, and you're like, I said what? Whatever, because you're speaking through your emotions. And here's one of the most important things I've learned in the last year of my life. Emotions aren't real.
Nope.
They're emotions.
Yep.
They are preconceived feelings. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt.
And you're the only one that can feel them until you open your mouth.
Yeah. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt like shit. Being lied to hurts, man. When you trust somebody, when you really trust them, and they lie to you, yeah, that hurts.
Fucking awful.
But the emotion of it isn't real.
Yep.
There's no physical, real pain. I mean, like, yeah, it can really physically hurt sometimes. It has. So that might be a bad
No,
description.
I get what you. No, 100%. You're right. Like I have that. I have that with my mom.
Yeah.
My real mom. That you know that story. I don't. We don't speak or anything. Like, but you know, the one person that you trusted just lied to you.
Yeah.
And there's no. And it does hurt, but it's not real.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's just a way that I could. It's something that I used for so long to hide behind and give me a reason to drink like I did. And
yeah, it's a buried excuse.
Yeah.
One that we never even knew we were using.
Yep.
Like that one was so deep. Like our alcoholism was like, don't worry, I always got that guy.
Yeah.
And that's what really stripping it down and getting back to that accountability is all for. Is why were you drinking in the first place?
Yep.
And that's when, you know, they say the best place to face the devil is in his lair,
Oh,
in
no
his
shit.
house.
Oh yeah.
So it's in head on. You don't face the devil to your back. If you get in that
yeah.
ring, you better be, you know, kind of ready. And that's
Yeah, the devil don't play away games.
yeah, man. And so that's facing your fears. All these cliche terms.
I think I'm going to name this episode "The Devil Don't Play Away Games."
I like that. That's great, dude. That's great, and that's the damn truth. And well, you ain't gonna. There's gonna be no growth. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
And that's again pain, growth, pain.
Which is our. I feel like our natural growth pattern, or that's our natural. What am I trying to say? That should be our goal. That should be our natural goal, is to grow, to advance, to experience that growth through that pain, rather than you see a lot of folks who experience situations and still deal with them the way that they did when they first learned how to deal with them. Like in high school, when like, oh, my parents don't want me to hang out with my friends. Maybe they wouldn't have taken that drink that night, but they're like, okay, well, fuck you, mom, fuck you, dad.
You're right.
You know, and then you start, and then now it's all rolling, and then you get, 20 years down the road, and you're like, well, what do I do now? And then where did this all start? And something so simple as you being upset with your parents one night, leading to a lifetime of bad decisions that you've made that was just something so tiny. It's like that little itty bitty grain of sand that ends up inside that oyster that grows into that giant pearl.
That's it, man. And it like, I hear all the time, like, what was it that got that ball rolling?
Oh yeah.
And like most people, man, once you get that thing going, you just kind of want to push it around the yard. No destination, no real whatever. That's the part of the fun in it, the chase, the whatever. And I mean, I don't know, man. I try to go back, and I honestly, I couldn't tell you when my first drink was. I know it was that early. I mean, real early, 8, 9, 10,
Same here.
Somewhere around there.
Thanks, Abby.
But yeah, for sure. But I don't know, not really even getting into that. More or less, like I think, like you said, the growth is that's the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this game, man. Like my life has changed now because I literally took myself sort of out of the equation. I'm not worried about myself so much anymore. I have faith that as long as I do the right thing, then I'm going to be taken care of.
Absolutely.
And
that's wise.
And this newfound, like, bro, I don't even know what you call it. And I think this is why my friend suggested that maybe I go into the ministry. But it was like the minute that I made myself available for help, my phone doesn't stop ringing. And that's I'm not patting myself on the back. That is not like, I have all these answers, because, man, don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm serious, man. I don't want that weight. But I'll tell you something that I've never felt that's better than any drug, than sex, than anything, is just being available. Just being able to answer my phone. When somebody calls me and I can hear that they don't have any hope, and they needed me to answer that phone. They needed me to be there. There's a feeling like, thank God I got sober because I wouldn't have answered the phone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be there for somebody that needed it. So
That's powerful.
That's nothing about me. Nothing. But I'll tell you what, if I didn't go through all that shit, all that pain, maybe wouldn't have had that knowledge, that wisdom.
Absolutely.
Now. So it was unnecessary. In order to grow, I had to go through that pain. So like they said, you have enough pain, you'll make a change.
Did you grow up in church?
No.
Have you? Okay. I asked that. I asked that because back in the day there was this thing that used to always go around where God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called.
I like that.
Just remember that God doesn't call the equipped; He equips the called.
That's some pretty heavy stuff. And I don't know. I kind of wanted to share this. Something happened the other night, and I'm trying to think of a way to. So I was volunteering at a hospital.
Okay.
The other night, and this is great because this isn't a what do you call it? Oh, shit. It's not an actual rehab. It's a mental health facility.
Okay.
So there are people in there with addictions. There are people in there that just, you know, kind of felt like they were losing it, or there are people in there that were court ordered to go somewhere other than a prison, be evaluated for a certain amount of time, whatever. We go there and volunteer sometimes. And I was volunteering one night and doing this. You know, like telling my story. This is what happened to me, man, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, here I am, and I'm able to maybe help somebody one day. And there's a lot of, that keeps me sober. So I'm going to keep doing this, you know.
Do that, man.
Yeah.
Find your thing.
But, so this young man, he's sick. And we're all sick. And some are sicker than others.
Yeah.
And he's not buying what we're selling. And I'm not selling fucking anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But he was angry, right? And really getting up and jumping and kind of in our faces and pointing fingers and saying, you think you're so big and bad, you want a gold star just because you've been sober? I'm a gangbanger. I've been in and out of jail. I've been in fights and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, you know, my old thinking started coming back. I wanted to jump down this guy's throat and be like, you don't know who I am.
Yeah.
You know, like
you don't know where I've been.
I have the reputation for fighting buzzsaws. That ain't a great reputation, by the way, but I also still have the reputation.
Yeah.
Like, ain't afraid of nothing. So I'm kind of calming myself down, but really I'm getting in my own head. I'm like, why are you doing this, Josh? This is a late Sunday night. You're tired. You worked all week long, and you're volunteering. And this guy's in your face doing this, calling you a piece of shit, making fun of you because you're trying to help. All these things. And what is the point?
Yeah.
Why the hell are you doing this? And man, I'm walking out, and I'm like, I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe I'll never get those couple hours of my life back. Like, I don't get this. And somebody grabbed my shoulder and said, hey, man, I know you probably don't believe me, but I recognize you. And I'm like, oh, he knows me from the band or the bar or somewhere, you know, like, holy shit. He said, no, I recognize you from when you got help about a year ago. I said, no way. You know, because he said, I've been away for about a year, and this is a couple months ago. So I said, if you knew me when I started, there's no way, you know, like I don't really understand. He said, no, sir, I remember you. And he said, are you going to be available when I get out of here in 2 weeks? And I was like, absolutely. And man, in a split second, I went from, I can't believe I just did that, how the nerve of that guy to get in my face for volunteering my time. Well, he had to say that shit for this guy to sit in the corner and sit there politely and nicely for it to be over, for him to come up and say, thank you so much for doing what you did today, and I remember you, and can I call you when I get out? Bro.
That's what it's all worth.
I am not the Messiah. I'm not here to save people and follow the path to the righteous man. That is not me, bro.
Yeah.
But if my phone rings and I can help, why the hell won't I?
That's such a big deal, man.
Like, I mean,
that's such a big deal.
And availability. You know, I'm known as the the late night guy. I was at Tito's for years and had the kitchen, and I was known as if you run into a problem at 3 a.m., my phone, I'm just getting home. I'm eating dinner.
Yeah.
If you really aren't, because man, you want to talk about a lonely place? You know that place.
Oh, we're all in the same schedule.
You seclude at 3 a.m.
Yep.
It's like we almost wait till people go to sleep.
We have the world to ourselves.
When I get myself alone and I like to beat myself up, it's like my inner self's going, I got you now, bitch.
Yeah.
Now I got you alone. Now I'm gonna beat you to death. You got nowhere to raise a flag. Even if you do raise a flag, nobody's going to see it because it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So see how making myself available to help from 3 to 6 in the morning actually helped me because people started calling. So it got me out of my own shit to help somebody out of their recent shit.
And not only that, it strengthens that aspect of you to when you're that. And I said this in the last podcast, and people probably think I'm fucking crazy, but I deal with these voices in your head, and it's not necessarily voices in your head, but it's like you talking to yourself. It's your conscious saying, okay, you aren't good enough, or you didn't do this well. And I'm just saying hypothetically, just to not reveal what mine actually says to me.
Sure.
But just like it equips you better to fight that demon that lives in your head that's just spewing negativity at you and shit. And like, this is not what I'm about. I'm not defined by this.
Yeah.
And this is just it strengthens like the black dog or the white dog. Mm-hmm. You either feed your black dog or your white dog, and whichever one you feed more is the one that is stronger. So if you spend all this time feeding your negative dog, whenever it comes time for your negative dog to fight your positive dog is malnourished and cannot keep up with the negative dog. So feeding your positive dog is, or by you being able to help somebody or get that nourishment from taking all of this shit right here, when your negative dog is just ready to fucking end this guy's world because
that guy's tough. Negative dog has been doing push-ups.
Yeah, negative dog is legit. Like negative dog is legit, but positive dog is also a bad motherfucker who is finally getting to work out. Mm-hmm. And because he's been neglected for so long, when you finally start working them out, they're the most loyal thing that you'll ever have.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to hone in the beginning. And I was actually going to ask you, does that have a little? And I don't know how far into this you want to go either, but does it have a little bit why you left Tito's is just getting out of that?
Yeah,
getting out of that like
sort of
lifestyle, or not necessarily lifestyle, but the hours and we can't shed the hours. I don't know if you're like me, but fucking 5 years later, I'm still on the same schedule I was when I worked at Tito's. Like, I'm still up till 5 a.m. every night, and I can't help it.
Yeah.
No drugs, pure air, and that's just how it happens.
Well, I just knew, again, if you have enough pain, you'll make a change.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I didn't understand why things weren't working. I didn't understand why all these different variables. I started being real meticulous on my numbers, and they were going down. And I'm like, what the hell? Like it's me. I need to change the food, and I did everything. I need to go in early. I need to be there more. And I'm already working my ass off. So if things aren't working, we'll just add more hours. No, man, all that did was add more stress and add more time than I was working and not making money for.
Yeah, the stress is not worth the money in any occasion, no matter how much money.
So it kind of was like this really off balance. Like, my buddy was like, dude, you work with others every chance you get. Any minute you're off, when you're 3 a.m., your phone's ringing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it seems like you always kind of, your life's like a snow globe, and everything, when you're working with others and when everything's chill, all that snow and that snow globe is just chilling on the scenery inside.
Oh, yeah.
But the minute you walk into Uncle Tito's, it goes like this. Shake, 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 shake. And it's just like, and it's inevitable. It's
I know.
That's the life. That's the, half of my friends are in there, man. So it was a lot harder than people thought of. It's like, shit, dude. Again, going to get the donut every day for 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I didn't necessarily like fill in the blank, I still kind of miss him. because
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing their dumbass every damn
Exactly.
day. You know, so it's like, and no, I'm not going to reveal what exactly dumbass I'm talking about.
We know.
I mean that as a proverbial dumbass, by the way.
Yeah,
But
yeah. There's not an actual person that
no,
we're talking about.
absolutely not. But more or less, like I knew that a big change needed to be made, and I kind of hit this glass ceiling, sort of like in almost like what it felt like my sobriety. Like nothing's moving. I thought, once over a year, and you're working with others and all these things, that things are going to change, and I'm still in the same spot. I'm not gaining any ground.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of like, hold up. Remember when you raised the white flag the first time, surrender to win, and it worked out for you? That's when I was like, you know what? I might try this again. Hey, I'm not going to burn it down like I used to. Hey, when I quit a job, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're pretty cool. Fuck you. I'm out.
Yeah.
No, man. This time I said, thank you for the opportunity. I can't do this anymore. This will be my last date. I'll do anything I can to help you in transition, but I have to do this. And nobody really fought me on it. There were people that didn't want me to go,
Yeah.
for sure. But the most part, for the whole, there were people calling and congratulating me.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you got out of there, Josh.
Yeah.
Not that I'm better. That's one of the hardest parts of sobriety and keeping friends that are still in this life. For some reason, they feel like you're portraying this persona like you're better. And bro, I am no better than fucking anybody that walks on this earth.
Yeah, absolutely.
My shadow is dark and deep.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. I'm not
People have a hard time dealing with folks who try to better themselves and take offense to
Sure.
You bettering yourself as to saying that they need to do the same or that they're not where you are.
Yeah, and I mean, it's wild, man. Now, part of people that call and contact me for help, and again, I'm so humbled and just so glad that I have a phone to answer. I'm glad that I'm able to speak, to talk while I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for a lot of things these days, and the simple ability just to be there for, again, that person that might not have any hope left on the planet. That might be the last call that they're making. If they don't answer this phone, that's it. I'm gonna go grab that shotgun. You don't know that.
Exactly.
You never know that. People always say Anthony Bourdain, Kate Spade, all this. Why didn't they tell somebody? If they just would have told somebody. I'm gonna tell you something. About 6 months ago, I wanted to kill myself. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. I'm sober. I just got like completely, my love life got flipped upside down. There's like affairs and all this stuff. And I'm like, while I was sober, like while I was doing the right thing by God. And
Yeah.
and I was just like, you know what? I don't want to drink. I don't want to use, but I don't really want to live anymore. So I hit this point and I was like, I kind of want to die. And I called some people, not the right people. And I said, I can't do this Tito's anymore because every night I get off work, I want to kill myself. And they said, just buckle down. Just make it through the season again. I said, did you hear what the hell I just said?
Yeah, right? Like, that can't just be, like, skated past.
Whoa. Again, I want to die. I don't want to be here no more. And the only commonality I can have in that is it usually comes about an hour after I get home from work at 4 a.m. There's no one for me to call. I'm normally that guy that you call. And this is a couple months ago, so I'm not really working with too many people yet. 6 months ago, probably. And it was like, that was when I really said, you got to do something different. This is almost like early sobriety again. You've reached this point where you're not wanting to take accountability, and you're not wanting to really look at these things. I'm like deferring myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pointing the finger again instead of saying, you know what, so I'm doing something wrong here. Remember, I'm working more. I'm putting in more hours.
Yeah.
I didn't make much money. I'll do some more specials and take some more risks and put something else on the menu and then lose money next week. And now I added more stress to myself and all this shit. But man, when I finally was like, hold up, I have a choice. And I started to feel that hopelessness again of like, I don't have a choice in this. It's again, when you start thinking it's a good idea to end your own life, you're not going down a good road. You're not in a good spot. But I literally, I said this to someone, I want to die. And they didn't hear it. And all I kept thinking of was, I wonder how many people Anthony Bourdain said, I want to die to before he actually did it.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you it wasn't zero.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? But you can't.
I've been there.
What are you going to stop? Like.
I've been there.
And that's the thing where it was, the only person that's going to get you out of this is you.
Absolutely.
Now you can have your faith, and I suggest that you find yourself in a hole. The best thing you can do is find a faith, some sort of, I don't care what it is, but have something, because the same hole that you found yourself in, that you kept crawling into, you're asking the same guy to get yourself out of it.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work anymore, it's something else is going to have to help you.
Absolutely. And it does take, I will say that it does take getting to a point of saying, I really need to talk to somebody seriously about this thing, because just like talking about Brody Stevens earlier, like he just didn't want, Zach Galifianakis said, I knew that he didn't want anybody to see him in this situation. Like he had a reputation basically to uphold, as I'm the funny guy, I'm the guy that makes everybody laugh.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to see otherwise. I don't want anybody to see this other person.
Oh, yeah.
And I was that. Like I had, I'm the happy guy, happy go lucky all the time. I'm the one that makes everybody laugh. I just wanted to be that person, but it doesn't always work out like that. And it just didn't work out like that at all. Yeah. Towards the getting down to where I was like, I really just want to die. And just going, like you said, going around all the time like, how are you doing? Oh, well, I just literally just want to die. I'm sick of this shit and I'm ready to get out of here. And
yeah.
And
so then you're feeding a negative
and then they
diet.
laugh. And then they laugh because I'm the funny guy, right?
Yep.
So, oh, he's making a joke.
Yeah. And you're walking away going, I was fucking serious.
Yep. Be like, if they only knew.
And they're just laughing. They're talking about tacos. They're talking about whatever. And you're like, I just, they say raise a flag if you're in trouble. I just raised a huge flag that says, I want to die. Yeah. And you said, can I get some hot sauce with that? And you're like, is anybody listening? Yeah. Does anybody care?
Scare me.
But that's, I will say this too. Yeah. Something I found out that's a little bit scary, and I guess, not to promote or anything like that, but it's not very uncommon to quit whatever you were doing, get sober for a year, to have those thoughts.
Oh,
because you're seeing the clearest you've ever seen, maybe in your adult life. Like I'm seeing the clearest I've ever seen since I was 15. So yes, in my adult life. And here's the crazy thing, you're seeing crystal clear. You're seeing all of your character defects staring at you right in the middle, in the mirror. All of them. I mean, they're gleaming. Yeah. They are like, holy shit, now I know I was drinking because I didn't like how I looked in the mirror. I'm overweight. Oh, I didn't like how I'm getting gray. You could pick out 9 billion things that you don't like about yourself. That, our biggest battle, our biggest demon is this guy.
100%. You are your own worst enemy in every aspect of your life.
Every aspect. Bro, I just said it. I got the reputation for fighting a buzzsaw. When I went and got help, I walked in like this. I said, let me tell you something. I'm afraid of 2 things, God and my father. And you ain't either one of those.
Yeah.
Now.
Now where do we go from here?
When I got honest with myself, when I really got honest, I was afraid of everything. Afraid of abandonment, afraid of rejection, afraid of security. I mean, all these things that I remember, God and my father. Now, here's the funny thing. I don't fear God or my father now. Either one of them. At all. Because my God is a loving God and my father's my father.
Yeah.
Now, some of those fears, they're still there. They're still present. But they're not as bad as they used to be. Some of them are pretty much completely gone.
And
that's
some
when you're
things you
like,
think are fear, and some things that you used to fear, like you get to the point where you're like, is this what I've been scared of the whole time? Like,
yeah.
for me, that was being alone.
You know, one of the, I don't know. Before my buddy Victor died, a week before he passed away, he came to the bar, and we went outside, and I knew he was going through some issues and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was always my guy. He was always who I called when he was the guy that I called at 3 a.m. Hey, wake up! I got some problems to talk about. You know? And he was coming by to, looking for advice or whatever. I didn't really have too much to offer back then, because my advice was, let's go do a shot. Let's go drink some more. I don't know. That's how I handle everything else, all my other problems in the past. But I'll never forget, I turned it around on me. I was making it, even though he came and asked for my help, I made it about me. Well, I'm going through the same shit, bro, and I'm having the same, relationship problems, and I'm going through the same thing. But I'll tell you what I'm really afraid of. And I looked at my friend straight in the eyes, and I told him I was afraid of death. I said, I'm afraid of dying, man. Like I have this fear. I'll wake up in the middle of the night of just dying, not how I'm going to die. I surf. I'm not afraid of getting eaten by a shark. I'm just afraid of the actual death.
Yeah.
Life after death, if there is life. That's
the next step.
For some reason, I've always had a real intense fear of that, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm telling it, and with the calmest demeanor, with the easiest eyes, he looked at me and said, Josh, it's going to be okay, man. He said, everything's going to be okay. And it was like this wave came across me like, he's right. Now, it took me years to get over my fear of death. And it's slowly like,
oh, for sure,
just easing, chipping away, and it's pretty much gone these days. But the insane thing about it all is he died almost a week later. And it was a sudden death, and it wasn't accident and whatever else, but just the time of events, how everything played out, it was like, not that it was his last words or anything like that, but that was God, my version of God speaking through him, giving me a message that everything was going to be okay. And
yes,
in his
absolutely.
death, when I one of 4 of us, I think 4 or 5 of us got to say his last words, and that was, I don't really remember what I said, but I somewhat told that story, and I remember saying everything's going to be okay, and for the first time, I believed it. And it took me a while after that, but I'll always put that in my mind, like, you're going to start living life right again. You haven't always lived life the wrong way. And somewhere you kind of got veered off on this path. Because we're all going to the same place regardless.
Oh, yeah.
It's just some of us do this and some of us do that. Some of us run, some of us walk. We all going to the same place. But when I got going down that path, it was like, you almost get to the point of no return. Like, fuck it, I might as well just keep going.
Just like that martini that was half drank.
Yeah. And so I never, like a pretty serious issue, like being afraid of death, that's a pretty serious issue, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Children shouldn't be thinking like that. That's a part of life. Just like the yin and yang, there's beauty in death. There's a lot of beauty in death. It's hard.
Yes. It's just a part of life. It's just another part of life.
Yeah, but if you, like that dog, negative dog, if you've been feeding on that issue, if you've been feeding the negative side your whole life, positive side on that issue ain't very strong.
What if it were, whenever you get to the other side and after you do die, the only thing that is on the other side is whichever dog you fed the most?
Right? I like that. I've never even thought of that perspective.
Me neither until just now.
Yeah, and to me, man, that's a God wink. That's a God. You wrote that, but I don't know if it was original. You know what
100%. Oh, dude, I am a proprietor of that. Like, knowing that there's a lot of things that get said and that I say, even that I'm like, that didn't come from me.
Right.
That was not me. that says whatever, and I'm not. I mean, maybe whatever I just said was something like that, but I love it when something happens and it comes out, and it's like you've never thought of it or heard it before, and it's like this had to come from somewhere else.
Yeah, and that to me in itself, right there, was my connection with faith, and it was like all these undeniable kind of things started happening, and you can say, well, that was either me or that was somebody else, and that wasn't me.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, who else was it? And that's when things started to become easier, when it was like, I don't have to have control of these things, my opinion doesn't matter, and all I really have to do is be held accountable for what I did.
Yeah,
it makes this whole go around easier. It makes you more approachable. It makes your options just skyrocket. When you don't care, then when you don't really have an opinion and don't really care, what does it matter?
When you don't have a dog in the race, you can enjoy the fight. Or when you don't care about either team, you can enjoy the game.
Yeah, exactly. You have no invested interest in either side.
Yeah.
It's yin and yang. That's like saying, I enjoy the nighttime way more than I enjoy the daytime. Okay, but I mean,
yeah.
Like, in order for there to be the nighttime, there has to be the day.
Oh, for sure.
So, like us, we stay up most of the night. That's our musician kind of.
Yeah.
It's going to be ingrained in our blood, man. I'm probably going to be the 3 a.m. guy for a long time.
Oh, same here, buddy.
But I'm okay with that.
Same here.
And if I have to incorporate that into my makeup, that's fine. But what I also know is nothing has to stay the same. We can retrain ourselves.
Absolutely. Anything can change at any given time as long as you make up your mind to do so.
This whole old dog, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, is bullshit.
Absolutely.
You can't teach a stubborn dog new tricks.
Fucking ain't right to that.
There's a difference, a huge difference.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to change, then you ain't gonna change. That's what that old dog means. Oh, it ain't got nothing to do with the age. It's got everything to do with your fucking hard head.
Absolutely,
your stubbornness, that the callus that you've been working really hard on for your 60, 70, 80 years on this planet. Hey, man, that's how I was raised. That's how I've always done things. Well, if you've always done things the wrong fucking way, then it might be time to change.
Absolutely.
You want to take it to your grave that way?
That's what insanity
is. Just because I always done things that way? That's like the dude that goes and talks to the KKK guys. He goes, you can stop thinking like this, like, I don't know, right now if you want. There ain't nobody going to jump out and be like, whoa.
There's no rules here.
You're not in the KKK no more. No, dude. You can say, you know what? And you got to look this guy up. He has robes. He gives, when people decide and they say, you know what, kind of not your right or whatever, but he's talked people out of the Klan and they give him his robes. He goes to his house and he's got and the dude's interviewing him, he goes, this is creepy as shit, bro. Like, you got him displayed. And he goes, not like it's a victory to him, but he looks at him like, that's one less fucking hate that I had something to do with to get out of this world. So I'm going to display it like a damn trophy. And those people they're still friends. They still go fishing.
That's beautiful, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what we need more of in the world, man. That's what we need more of. And there's not enough people that are willing to do that and have conversation. And I try to bring this up on Facebook with just folks in my family or whatever, just seeing that there are people who see somebody that has a different opinion than them in a comment section of something that I post on Facebook, arguing with somebody who has, and obviously neither one of these people are going to change the other one's mind.
Sure.
But just finding a common ground with this person rather than saying, oh, well, they believe that this blah, 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 blah should go down this way, or that we should have this wall, or this person believes we shouldn't have this wall, or whatever. This is as far as I care. That's as far as I care to, or as much as I care to learn about this person.
Right.
I don't care to learn anything else. Once I learn that one thing that I don't agree with, that's as far as I care to take this. And that is what's wrong right now. That's why we are so divided as a nation. Not nation necessarily, but as a world, really. Mm-hmm. Why we're so divided as humans is just people are too concerned with the thing that someone does that they don't agree with, rather than the 1,000 other things that they would agree with in this person. Like, Fuck, I bet both of you like Star Wars. Talk about that maybe instead of the politics and shit. Because you know what? In 1967 or 19 fucking whatever, when these people went to the voting booth to vote for whoever they voted for, and they went back to work the next day, they didn't quit talking to their friends. You know why? Because they didn't know who they fucking voted for.
Yep. They kept that shit to themselves.
Kept that shit to themselves because they didn't know. Mm-hmm. And when you don't know and you don't have to be invested in that sort of communication with somebody, the world, and I'm not saying the world is a better place because there was a lot of shit that was wrong in the 60s, like segregation and fucking just real racism.
Sure.
Not just the kind of thing where somebody slips up and says something on Twitter that could be misconstrued to mean something, but actual fucking racism. Yeah. Like if I had a
hate,
like if we were real hate, like if we were not in front of a bunch of people, I could kill you with no problem, and that happened a lot in the 60s. Mm-hmm. But as far as people, like the world being more accepted of other things, I guess. Well, maybe not so much, but just as far as the political thing goes, like not many people were fighting over politics and shit back then, right?
Right.
And maybe they were. I wasn't there, but I just don't think that people would have been as apt to get in the kind of arguments that are going on today back then.
I think here's the difference. You know, I thought about this the other day. I was like, somebody said, you know, everybody has their own opinion and blah, blah, blah. And it's like it matters with how many times have you seen, well, this is my page, and if you don't like it, you can get off or I'm going to delete you. Okay, whatever. It's not your page. It's Facebook. It's public. You're putting it in.
And who benefits from that?
It's your home. So if you want to hang a hate flag from your home, somebody's probably going to stop by and go, "Hey, man, what's up with the hate on your fucking wall?"
Yeah, right.
You know, like, I mean, against anything. I hate. Fill in the blank. It don't matter. You know, somebody's going to have a problem with that. So when you're promoting that in a public forum,
it's not just your page anymore.
Yeah. So, and here's the difference.
Exactly.
You know what I remember growing up? There was a little gas station in Surfside called the Sunspot. It was deli gas station. I remember gas was 99 cents a gallon. We had if my dad hears this, he's going to die. We had a running account, so me and my sister could go by there and just get deli sandwiches.
Oh, that was a thing back in the day. Credit convenience store.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They just ran a tab, and so I'd take all my friends there after surfing, and we all go eat or whatever. But what I remember about the Sunspot was all the dignified guys, all the the businessmen, the whatever. You'd always see them in the corner at the different tables drinking their coffee. They always had the bottled Coca-Cola with the peanuts put in it.
Oh yeah.
Oh dude, that's where I learned how to have the peanuts in the Coca-Cola. I wanted to be grown like them. And
Southern delicacy, by the way. The bag of peanuts and a Coca-Cola.
Has to be the glass bottle though, not the plastic. But anyway, but I remember all the dignified guys doing this, holding their papers.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think? They're reading the same shit like we are now. Now it's just more readily available.
Absolutely.
Now and other than the Sun News and Coastal whatever, you had two options. So it didn't really vary that much, but they still talked about it.
Yep.
But here's the difference of these days. So you watch somebody, even if you don't know the people, they get in an argument. They find differences. They say, well, I'm this way and I feel this way. And then what happens next? I'll beat your ass. Bless you.
Sorry, I'm allergic to ignorant people.
Yeah, I know. Bless you times two. but every time, I mean, I've had it to me, if you say something, first of all, if you say something that's really got depth and really makes a point, that's like a one-way ticket to a Facebook ass beating, man.
Oh, yeah?
You make me look dumb, I'll beat your ass.
Yeah. Oh,
why?
Well, meet me at Kroger then.
Yeah. Why? Because I have a different because I have a different political opinion?
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm bigger than I mean, the dumbest shit you've ever seen. Here's the difference between the Sunspot. Now, if you got a dignified gentleman sitting there reading the paper and he says, hey, what do you feel about Trump and whatever, and somebody goes, if you like fucking Trump, fucking you're an idiot. And he goes, well, actually, I voted for Trump, and why do you think I'm an idiot? Well, blah, blah, blah. And then he says some real shit. Well, the economy, this, and real facts, real this. Well, so I'll beat your ass.
That's where it goes.
That guy might go, oh, yeah?
Okay.
You want to step outside like a gentleman?
Yeah.
You can't Ask somebody. You can't tap somebody on the shoulder on Facebook and say, let's step outside like a man.
Exactly.
So you got the keyboard warriors. You got the people that say, oh, my opinion matters the most, but now I'm hiding under an IP address that you can't ever find me, and that don't really matter.
Yeah.
And I might not even be the person that's in my Facebook profile.
Yes.
I'm actually a 60-year-old woman in Sioux Falls, Iowa, but my opinion matters so much that I'm going to threaten you physically.
Did somebody fuck with you from Sioux Falls, Iowa? You have something about that place.
I keep going back to Sioux Falls. I don't know what it is.
Well, you're saying, too, another thing that's different these days, and we've gone well over 2 hours, and we'll be wrapping this up shortly. And I know you've had a long day ahead of you, or a long day behind you. But anyway, then I told you exactly what was going to happen. I was like, the average listener will stay logged in for about 15 minutes, and we'll say we'll try to shoot for an hour and a half, and we'll go over too.
Right.
But
You're right.
call it like the day is, man. I've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
But seriously, the one thing that's majorly different now is back in those days, there could be different newspapers that you could get, but they all told the same stories.
Sure.
Now, with the modern newspaper, everybody gets to see things that are molded to their sort of the things that they want, are interested in, or things that they want to read about. Now, for instance, if every single newspaper these guys were reading back then, what if every single newspaper only were geared towards the things that they believed? Because that's what's going on now. People are able to, I don't like what they say on Fox News, and I can watch CNN, or vice versa. Or I don't like I don't like the videos they're playing on MTV. I'm going to go to VH1. It's in every aspect of it. Now people can just go to whichever place that sells the stories that they like the most, and that's where they can get all of their information from. Yeah. Rather than Walter Cronkite telling us this is exactly what the fuck happened, and now you can make your opinion on how you feel about this situation. Right. Which I am more a fan of facts than I am people's opinion on them, which is more so why I enjoy listening to things like Joe Rogan and other podcasts, because they're really giving you the facts. And yeah, there's some opinions sprinkled in there, but the big opinions, like you don't, the big opinions aren't voiced. Like, you don't know who this person voted for. Mm-hmm. You don't, unless they want to go down that road and tell you. But usually, if they go down that road and tell you who they voted for, then they're probably not. Then that's probably just something that they're opening a door to argue about, because that's what people are doing for fun now, is just arguing for fun. Right. But
well, it's sort of like the way I see it. Like, I'm glad you said Walter Cronkite too, because now, because everybody's opinion matters. Yeah. Because anybody can have a podcast. No offense. Oh yeah. Anybody exactly. can post this to millions.
Everybody has a platform.
Everybody does. Yep. Now it sort of discredits Walter Cronkite. We used to trust him. He wasn't an elected official, but he got that position for a reason. Yep. Started out here. This market trusted him. Hey, let's put him to national level. Put it there. Hell, the entire country trusts Walter Cronkite when he comes on TV. Yep. It's because we trust that guy. Now, how many times you see, oh, well, because I read it on the internet, it must be true. Yes. Now, dude, it's almost like there's more shit that isn't fact than there is.
And I believe that's user error most of the time, just because people are not inclined to look into what something says. People stop at headlines now. They'll read a headline and then they just share it off, and then they don't read the article or what it says, and they don't want to look into it and build their own opinions on this thing.
Now it's almost like to jump on the opinion. You want to have the first opinion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because for whatever reason, our society thinks if we have the first opinion, then everybody else is going to follow. Yeah. No, that's why you see the same shit being shared, different memes and whatever else. And it's like, you shared my meme. It wasn't yours. You found that somewhere and you shared it. You see what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Everybody thinks they're the first. When I was growing up, you wanted to find the band that nobody heard of. Here's the tape. Here's the fire, bro. You ain't heard this band. They're from Sioux Falls, Iowa. Yes.
Coming all
What's
the way
up,
back
Sioux
around.
Falls? How you doing? God, but you know what I mean?
But seriously, yeah.
That's that. And now, just like on the internet, and when our music career ended and Tinto's ended or whatever, it was like everybody said it's just a different game. You don't get in a bus and travel around the country anymore to get your music out there. You have to have a guerrilla style internet because you can get to millions of people now and not thousands by getting in a bus and burning up gas that's $4 a gallon and not 99 cents. Like
No
it used
shit.
to be. And it's the whole game changer. But at the same time, just like finding something true on the internet, find me a good band that nobody hasn't heard of on the internet. There's about 9 billion shitty bands, but find me a good one. A good one. It's finding a needle in a haystack. Same thing with media. Bro, I have a friend that wrote for a really reputable newspaper, and newspapers are about done. The actual, and that's sad, man. There's a lot of memories I have with that. That's people are just not gonna. The Sunday paper, man, that thing weighed like 10 pounds.
Not anymore.
Bro.
Now, and that was stories.
Yeah.
Now it's ads. Now it's things to like coupons and shit to sell you. That's thicker than the newspaper is now.
Or it's drama. It's here's the scandal. Here's the news scandal. All the stories that used to be saved for the Inquirer is now actually headlines. But again, speaking up for my friend, because this really grinds his gears, and he said every time he sees somebody say, if it wasn't for the media manipulating this, we would be thinking different ways. And he'd be like, "What media are you talking about?" Because I'm in the media.
The one you follow?
And exactly. Because so I'm in the media. So basically you're just saying, since you're Irish, then all Irish people feel this way.
Yes.
You're speaking for an entire group and so
that's racism.
Yeah. And so it's like same thing against journalism.
Yeah.
So this guy's out there doing honest work, really trying to give you facts, the story, and there's stuff like kind of like the story with the Ku Klux Klan guy. He had told this story about going through downtown in the urban parts, and it wasn't like what you hear in the media.
Yeah.
He was like, here's actual pictures of people helping people and of different races, and this is what's really going on. So, and that's the kind of journalism he did. But just like good journalists, find me a good journalist on the internet. Same with that same good band. So, of course, you're like, the media blows. Yeah, because there's 900 billion shitty wannabe journalists that have their own platform.
Yeah, exactly.
That have 14,000 followers for whatever fucking reason. But, but at the grand scheme of things, 14,000 is nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a pencil. It's a pin drop.
So if you're talking about the collective media as a whole, like everybody who has the ability to put out content, then you're probably right.
Exactly. So that's why we don't have a Walter Cronkite right now, because there's too many avenues to trust. Well, I trust Kelsey. Well, I trust such and such podcast. Well, I trust this podcast. Yeah. I'm not wrong because I trust you, and they're not wrong because they trust him.
Absolutely.
But there's too many damn avenues. We didn't have 487 channels of news to choose from when Walter Cronkite had to tell us something.
100%.
And because we trusted him. For the same way when we elect, officials into office.
Yeah.
We trust them to do that job. We have a voice. Our only voice is to put the people there that we feel might be the best. But you think we still have a voice in making the real decisions? No, man.
Fuck no. We haven't had that in years.
We just gave that away.
We have the illusion of choice.
Exactly.
We have the illusion of choice. That's what we vote for. We vote so that we have the illusion that we actually have a choice, and we don't. We don't have a choice in this situation, and in our own personal lives, we have all the choice.
Yeah,
we're given all of the free will in our own lives to choose what we want to do. But as far as how things in the world goes, and how things in Washington go, or bills and things like that, we don't have a choice. That is all them.
Right.
And just understanding that, I think, and having this venue, and just knowing that I understand there's so many people who have this this ability and this soapbox to stand on, this hypothetical soapbox or digital soapbox to stand on, rather. And a lot of them use it negatively. And I really just believe that at least doing that, people are able to voice their own opinions. And I think that's a huge win in the world of free will, because there's not enough people who want to believe things on their own. Rather, they just want to select from things that other people believe and things that they're told they should believe by people who they've chosen to trust, like either Fox News or CNN or NBC or whatever the big three are.
Right.
They say, okay, well, my news station says this news station says that. They're covering the same story from two completely different aspects, and one of them's incorrect.
Yeah.
And probably both of them.
Yeah. There's only bits of truth in
Exactly.
either one of them. Just like the game telephone, man. I don't care if the situation happened here. If you take any situation and move it to there, it ain't the same situation no more.
Not at all.
Not even close. You know, that's like somebody ever says to you, well, this happened. I heard this situation happened between you and such. And you say, well, here's my side of the story. And they say, well, I've already heard it. But they weren't in the situation that they're talking about. No, then you haven't heard the side of it. You've heard half of that story. And how much of half have you heard was the truth? Maybe half of that. So by my math, you've heard a quarter of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
So try to get a 25% on a test you take in any kind of class and see what kind of grade you get.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and people are so quick to think that they know what happened just because.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just for instance, I said, I can't believe this guy did this to somebody. And they said, oh, well, I mean, that didn't happen because I've known them for this long. I've known them my whole life. So that completely erases their inability to do what I just said they did. And by the way, which is the truth, because I have no reason to lie about it.
Exactly.
But you just null and voided that because of your history with the person. You're literally living an illusion that this is like this world runs on your clock.
Yeah.
They couldn't have done that because
a lot of people knew Ted Bundy.
Yeah, dude.
For a long time.
Yeah, dude. That's some scary shit. But that's the truth. Like, I mean, you immediately take, I guess, control of any situation that doesn't favor you, that doesn't hold on. I have to. You have to be telling a lie right now because this person has told me truths in the past, and it might not have anything to do with what we're talking about now. But you need to be able to believe them. So
exactly.
If I'm telling you that person lied, your first response is going to be, no, they didn't, because you're worried about all the things that you need.
All the truth points that they've built up with that person over the years.
And you need them to be telling the truth.
Yeah.
So, and if you tell them that, hey, nope, they actually lied, they're not worried about your situation. They're going back going, wonder if they ever lied to me. Probably so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the... Again, we like to do this when things start coming back, our way, and that's just the natural. I don't know. I don't know when we learned that. I don't know how that was programmed into us, but that's something I think we have to learn. We have to learn to take accountability for our actions. It's like, however you want to put it. God's teaching you a lesson, whatever. I don't know how many times I've heard, if you didn't learn the lesson, you will get it again until you get that lesson. So that's why I started seeing my life go in those circles. I was like, why is this happening again? Because apparently I didn't learn my fucking lesson.
And it'll continue to happen until you do.
Until you do. And that's when stepping out of Tito's, making that difference, making changes in my life, boom, imagine that. Different things start happening.
Everything falls into place when you do the right things.
Yeah, and that's what we tell people.
People don't take into account how easy it is to do the right thing.
Simply do the right thing.
If you do the right thing one time and see things fall into place, and there's people that we both know very well who have a lot of really good things going on that just make like a couple of really wrong choices, and then everything is just taken away from them.
Yep.
And that's not the way this game works. That's not the way this game works, and there's no prize at the bottom of that box. There's no prize at the bottom of that box if you just continue to do the wrong things. But if you make the right choices, the right doors will continue to open. Your phone will continue to ring, and you won't have the stress that you will be saving is worth the money that you will lose by making the right choice. And I know that because when I decided to step away from the fucking workforce and just working to make somebody else fucking money and just started doing what I wanted to do and what made me happy, yeah, I struggled my ass off for a couple of years, but then guess what? The money started showing up. And I'm not talking about big money. I'm talking about enough money to live comfortably.
Enough. Just enough.
And now, and of course, last podcast I did, I was just whining about being broke, basically. But now I'm broke in March instead of November.
Right.
And that's the difference. I'm still going through the same struggles that I've always had because I'm a musician. We're not allowed to make money unless we're on TV. And I'm not talking about like on YouTube TV. I'm talking about like on the Grammys. Musicians, unless you're in that circle, like on the radio and doing all that, you're not making any money.
I hope you can survive off $100 a night.
Yeah, because you know what bands played when I played gigs with Tom Smith, who lives across the street, and we talk all the time when he first joined the Mullets, which was 30 fucking years ago. Bands made $100 a man, and that's what we make today. Still $100 a man.
Yeah,
and that's just all there is to it. There's not a lot of money to be made, but you know what? Not deciding to go out and drink every night, not deciding to drop $150 on a ball to put up my fucking nose, or not the. Well, actually, that was a half a ball, $150. But seriously, not deciding to do that, and the same with you, like not you deciding to make changes in your life and doing things to better you, and now you are being rewarded in having your positive dog fed by being able to help all these people. And I'm really fucking proud of you, man.
Thanks for having me, dude.
I don't want to, and we definitely want to wrap it up. We've on audio have gone over 2.5 hours, my friend, and I love it. This is good talk, and I've gotten. Jeff Thomas actually sent me a message. We did really good. Bradley Parker, y'all are some strong dudes. Abby said great talk. Everybody's pretty. I think we're getting a lot of positive feedback. We had a lot of live watchers tonight too, so a lot of people saw this live. And
cool. You know, that's. I'll tell you one thing. I guess a closing thought for me or whatever.
Absolutely.
The most rewarding thing in my life right now is that I'm of service. I'm available to help. So if anybody listened, and you're what. I know you're scared, but if for whatever reason you trust me like Walter Cronkite, get my number, Facebook message me, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I can to get you out of the hole that you're in, because I've been there. And I know that there's a different life, a different way to live. So it's like being available now is, again, the most rewarding feeling, and it's something that I'm required to do from myself.
Yeah.
It was a promise I made to myself that I will always, because I was given this gift of life and sobriety, that if anybody ever approaches me, now you ain't gonna catch me out at bars going, "Hey man, I think you have a problem." That ain't ever gonna happen. Your phone's never gonna ring, and it's gonna be me on the other end going, "I think you have a problem." But on the flip side, if you ever want to call me and you think you have a problem, I'm so willing to listen. I might not have the answers, and it's probably not going to be the answer that you're looking for, but I know where there's a solution. I know all kinds of different avenues and ways to go get help. It don't matter where you get help, but you can't do this alone.
Yeah, very true.
I've never seen anybody. I'm not saying they're not out there, but my friends, they didn't do it alone. And that when you start to realize that you don't have to go through life alone, you miss that seclusion feeling.
Yeah,
I guess that's what I was trying to say. But you miss that, and so it's not it's not a necessary part of your life anymore because you have commonalities with other people,
Yep.
and it makes you feel like you belong, even though it's to a gang of misfits. We're a gang of misfits trying to get better, trying to live a better life, and not only that, trying to help out, trying to just do the next right thing. I don't just help people get sober. I try to help people in any way, shape, or form. Now, that doesn't mean I'm your personal taxi. That doesn't mean like, Josh, I'm having financial problems. I ain't the guy to call for that kind of help.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, but I might.
If you're caught inside your own head.
Yeah, and I mean, just if you don't feel like you have anybody to talk to, man, I love that I'm available, and there are quite a few people these days that don't. I guess, confide in me for sobriety, but more or less, they know they can. They know that I'm not going to take anything they say anywhere else. That it's going to be between me and them. They trust me, just like Walter Cronkite. I don't know fucking why.
Be Walter. Now you just got to grow the mustache.
Yeah, but it's something that I will always continue to do as I'm sober, and I think it's an integral part of my own sobriety to just be of service, just to help. When I pray, the only thing I ever ask for myself is I say, God, help me help you. Help me help your children. Sometimes I don't feel like I can help. Me. I don't feel like I can help people that contact me. I don't have that skills. I don't have this. But I'm like, they contacted me for a reason. And just like I said earlier, that might be the last call they make. That's not up to me. That's not up to me whether they decide to make that decision. But if it's put in my lap, I'm going to do everything I can to make you not think that way anymore.
The prayer of Jabez.
Jabez,
broaden my territories, Lord.
I like that.
Read that. Read the prayer of Jabez.
Saint Francis' prayer is one of my favorites. Basically, it's better to love than to be loved. And it goes deeper, a lot. It's a pretty long prayer, but that's pretty much the gist of it. It's, it's better to love than to be loved, man. And that's, you put that out. You put out love, and it's almost like that's what you're going to get back. That's
actually the new title of the episode.
Put out love, and that's what you get back?
It's the better to love than be loved.
Yeah, man. I like that. That's pretty hot. If we got through anybody or anything in the last 2.5 hours or so, know this, that you don't have to be alone. You never have to be alone again.
And you're not. You're already not alone. Even if you think you are, you're not.
Yeah. And there's so many avenues. Pick up the fucking phone. Call somebody.
And if you do think you're alone, just watch a scary movie. Because then you're not alone. Nobody's alone when they watch a scary movie. Then there's somebody everywhere.
Oh, God.
Just kidding.
I can't even do the scary movie. But,
all right, Joshy. Well, but good shit. I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of the work that you're doing. And I know we can't talk in specifics about exactly, who you're working with and what you're doing, but I'm really proud of you for that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Good job.
I can't thank you enough for having me again, and I think this is, or I know, did you ever watch Pump Up the Volume, the movie Pump Up the Volume with Kelly Slater?
No.
You need to watch that movie. That needs to be Netflix tonight for you.
Okay.
About a guerrilla radio show. He gets on a free airwaves and does mobile radio transmissions, and it's
cool.
Underground. So it was like the first podcast before there were podcasts.
Abby says, you're not the first one to be where you stand. It gets better as you get better. Very well said, Abby.
Yeah.
After 31 years.
Yeah, and that's, I love that. I love to know that I'm not walking this path alone. I got friends that have been, sober for 30 and 40 years, and I got friends that have been sober for 30 minutes. There's no spectrum, and we're all the same. Every
We are all the
damn
same.
one of us. It don't hold no prejudices, bro.
None.
What's my friend say? From park bench to park place, it don't make a fuck. I love it,
That's
dude.
true.
And that's the real
No
truth
prejudice.
right there.
100%.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks
I think
for being
this
here,
is
buddy.
a killer thing you got going on, and best of luck to you.
Well,
And
I appreciate that.
maybe
Thank you.
we'll do like a little semi-annual or whatever we want to call it, and
As often as you want, buddy.
yeah, I look forward to seeing the progress and being able to look back at these things and be like, wow, I even think of things differently now than I did 6 months ago.
Exactly. The next time we see each other at Walmart in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you know what happened?
Yeah. And now I thought of this really great point, by the way. We're like, great, Josh. Why didn't you think of that in the 3 hours that we talked before?
We'll get to that next time. There's always going to be a next time.
I love you, man.
I love you back, buddy.
Yeah.
Good. Always good to see you. Always good to see you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good talk. All right, audio folks. Be good people. In a world full of shitty people, don't be one of those people.
Yeah.
Be a good person. Peace, bitches. All right, YouTubers, hang tight for just a second. Let me get this intro down here real quick. Hey guys, how you living? Are you doing well? Good, glad to hear that. So in this episode, my buddy Josh Gregory stopped by to talk about sobriety over the last year and all of the different changes in his life and newfound ways of thinking and ways of living that he's going through and helping out folks with issues and sorts and just being a person to listen or being someone to talk to. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but this is a long talk and every bit of it is fucking great and you should listen to every second of it. But please go to the Facebook page and the Instagram page and the Twitter page at MI Stuff Podcast on all of those. And on Twitter, it's at MI Stuff Podcast, the number 1. Excuse me. And also on YouTube, Kelsey Hudgens on YouTube. Please click subscribe. And if the good Lord has laid it on your heart at all, please go to the GoFundMe and drop some dollars in there, because after I upload this episode that is over 2.5 hours, I may have reached my maximum limit on anything that on a shit that I can upload to Podomatic, which means that I'm going to have to upgrade to broadcaster on Podomatic, which means I'm going to end up having to drop like $540 on an annual membership to do that, or pay the $40 something a month, which is going to end up costing me an extra $100-$200 in the end. But anyway, please drop anything that you can into the GoFundMe, if you will, and I've linked that up I've pinned that on every page that I've got: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I've pinned that to the top of every page that I've got. So please go do that if it's in your heart to do so. And if not, just send good vibes. Tell me good things. Tell me what I can do to make this better. Tell me what I can do to enhance your guys' experience with this, because that's inevitably my goal. So anyway, please do that. You can go find Joshy on the Facebook if you want to talk to anybody. And I don't want you to give out your digits or anything on here, but if you do need to talk to somebody and you just need to get something off your chest and talk to somebody, either one of us, message me, message Joshy on Facebook, or an email address you want to give out or anything, or
yeah, you can do chefjoshysKitchen@gmail.com, and make sure you JOSHYS is how to spell it. And
well done.
Yeah,
email is something that email is like a number you can give out, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't have to really worry about being blown up all the time. Not that that's an issue, but
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So
and keep an eye out for my food trucks. They're coming.
Oh yeah,
shortly.
Josh's Kitchen food truck coming at you, huh?
Trucks. Plural. We got a couple different concepts we're working on, so just keep an eye out there. That's my new sort of venture. So I don't just do sober. I do food and fun and all kind of stuff, dude.
Good shit, man. Well, I am very proud of you and very glad that you're doing that. And I'm actually very stoked about you listeners that you get to hear this talk, because we go very deep into some dark territory that we all go to, but it's an elephant in the room that we had no trouble talking about, and that's a huge deal. And I'm very excited for you guys to hear this talk. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you get to it. So please, yes, like all of the pages, follow us on all the fronts, and please be good people. In a world full of shitty people, don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Without further ado, episode number 115 of In My Stuff Podcast featuring Josh Gregory. Enjoy, motherfuckers. All right, YouTubers, I'm going to have some links all over the page shortly. Not right now if you're watching live, but there will be links all over the page. Please click subscribe. Please click the videos. Please click all of the things that I'm putting up for you. Well done, Noctor. I don't know who you are. Is the elephant in the room you? Well done, my friend. It very well could be. Roll Tide. Who gives a shit? Please click the links. I love you. I mean it. Peace, bitches.
Peace.